What's up, guys? We are live. My apologies for the late start, but I'm sure you guys are kind of used to it by now. So today joining us, we have Denton, i.e. Karisma King, who's someone who was on the podcast, I want to say, what was it, 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago. We were actually just talking about that too, how it was crazy that we met so many mutual friends through your podcast.
Yeah, well, you and Avery, that was unrelated to my podcast, right? Or was that
Well, I thought it was crazy because he didn't even tell me like that he was going to be on your podcast. He mentioned it so briefly, and like I was honestly really busy with something, so I didn't know that he had the YouTube channel at the time that he jumped on that. He never.
I guess he thought my podcast wasn't important. I see how it is, Avery.
No, he mentioned it to me, and I just was like so busy at the time. I had so much shit over my head that I wasn't even paying attention. And he, as it turns out, that was when I realized, oh shit, he has a YouTube channel. We knew each other coming up on a month. He never told me.
Yeah, he has an interesting channel. But anyway, so Denton was on the podcast, I want to say 5 months ago. It was an epic part one. We got into a lot of really good things. And I think what was cool is that while you and I think agree on like 70%, we disagree on like maybe 30%. So we had like a really good, respectful debate. So to some extent, maybe I'm over exaggerating, but yeah. So check it out, guys. It was good stuff. You can also, I don't want to get into like the whole, backstory just because I think a lot of guys already have a good feel for who you are. But let's do this, Denton. Maybe you can give like a 30-second overview about just like, who you are.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been coaching women for 10 years, over 10 years, been coaching for 6 years. I worked for RSD, Endless Options, and Girls Chase. I was a head coach for Endless Options. I was a coach and writer and content producer for Girls Chase. RSD, I was an immersion coach for like a year plus. I worked on 10-game product. I actually helped develop the Endless Options program. I also have my own company called King Mentality Incorporated, and I have a YouTube channel called Karisma King, and then TikTok, King Mentality.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in this community longer than me, to be honest. Guys, before we go any further, though, can you guys let us know how the audio and video quality is? Because we were kind of trying to figure that out earlier. That's the reason for the delayed start. So give us a thumbs up if you can hear both of us fine. If not, let us know exactly what the audio/video issue is. So we'll keep an eye for that. Yeah, man, you've been in this industry for a while, and I know your content has changed. Like, you used to do a lot of the like top 10 pickup artists in the world videos versus, I think you mentioned in the last podcast, that's not something you really do anymore, right?
We did it briefly, but honestly, it wasn't getting like the amount of return for investment that we were wanting. We were talking about doing it again, though.
I think you should, dude. That's actually the first video of yours that I saw. That's how I like discovered you.
Oh, dude, fuck yeah. See, me and AG, we have like a really cool like little banter and shit like that. So we're trying to post up like more videos that are more authentic and more just us like fucking around. So we just started filming our everyday lives and like
I like the hot tub videos.
Yeah. You actually should have seen like the weird, like there were a bunch of like guys around the hot tub too, like a bunch of young kids and like adults, and like there was like a 50-year-old guy moving around booms and lighting, and then there was like a kid in like a chair looking like the director, and then everybody else was like, in the background holding the phones telling us what the questions were. It was
like some old Gandalf looking motherfucker, like rolling his beard and shit. Some like pervert jerking off in the background.
It was hilarious. Yeah. It was a very funny situation because there were a bunch of our friends and stuff like that, and like they just wanted to help out. And there was also, it was my girl's friends too. And so then they started wanting, like, they're like, yeah, let's help out. And so they all started like pulling together shit, and they started like, and then like one of the guys there was actually a videographer, and he started pulling out stuff. And so then it was like, if you actually look at like what was going on around us, it was hilarious because everybody's just running around and trying to be quiet while we're doing this talk. Mm-hmm.
So Denton, how long have you been doing coaching for?
6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've been at it for a while. So let me ask you this question. I don't know if I got to ask you this in the first podcast, but I definitely want to ask you today. What do you see as like, what patterns are you seeing amongst your clients? Like, what do you think is some of the biggest issues that guys are having in game that are holding them back?
It depends. There is a wide range of different things that are happening with people.
Give us an overview.
One more time.
Give us the full overview. Like,
okay.
Doesn't have to be like a quick answer.
The number of things that somebody could be doing wrong are very vast, and it's also like a good advice for one person at one spot is not good advice for somebody at another spot. So like I could tell a client, so like me, I don't make out with girls until I get them in private. But for a guy that's never made out with a girl, maybe like he needs to get that proof. And he also needs to like show more intent. So the way that he can show more intent is by making out with the girl. Because
can you just, sorry, not to cut you off, but can you elaborate on that? Like, why do you prefer not making out until you get the girl in private?
So I like riding the edge when I'm talking to girls. So actually, I was just breaking down infield for my private group of me and AG pulling a few like really hot models, and with one of our clients, and we were walking them back, and the entire time. So like I started off the interaction. So at first, one of my friends was actually with the girl, one of the girls, but then he had to leave because he runs a big business and he had to like go handle some shit. So then I had to start winging. So I jumped in, and the way that I worked it out was that at first I have to like. I try to like make the girl wonder if I like her. So you almost want to ride the edge and take it away. So then it's a push pull kind of sense. So if the girl wonders if you like her, she'll go back and forth in her head. She'll be like, wait, does he like me? He does like me. He doesn't like me. He does like me. It's almost like a mental push pull. And so what you do is like you want to ride the edge a little bit. And that's the mindset that I usually take on. You can also like, so if you make out the girl knows that if she goes with you in private, there's a good chance that you guys are going to have sex. You're going to expect sex. So the girl's just going to be like, oh no, I feel pressure to have sex. Not to mention too, I know that like logically, if I meet up with him and go in private, that we're going to have sex. But if she's not sure about it, what will end up happening is that she's like, oh, this guy is very non-needy. He's masculine. He's dominant. He's funny. He's free flowing. He's attractive. So guess what? If he didn't make out with me, I don't feel the pressure. Like if we hang out, he doesn't feel like he's not giving me the feeling like he's gonna make me feel obligated to have sex with him. So if we meet up in private, I don't think he's gonna push it. So then she feels more comfortable coming in private, and then in private she can like naturally and in a relaxed fashion get turned on. And then it usually leads to sex. Like I have a very high close rate.
Let me just quickly touch on that. So it's interesting what you said. So you're basically getting into like the point of no return. So like, or expectations, right? So the way I would explain it is like a explicit sex understanding. So this is the downside to sexting, right? If you're sexting a girl, she may be very into it in the moment, but then there's like this explicit sex understanding. And day of the day, she's like, shit, if I go over there, I have to fuck. What if I don't like him? What if this? What if that? Right? So a way around that, like guys always, ask like, how has your text game evolved? I would say one of the big ways my text game has evolved is I'm a lot more implicit nowadays. So I don't really sex as much. It's a lot more implicit. And the way I like to explain is I want to have just that bit of plausible deniability. I want to always be able to say, when exactly did I say I was going to fuck you? If I can't say that, then I went too explicit, right? And so, but to kind of touch on the making out thing, I do feel that you can make out with a girl and still have the when exactly did I say I was going to fuck you. So to me, in my mind, that's not that's not a full explicit sex understanding. The other kind of argument I would give is if you don't make out with a girl when she gets back to your place, it's a big compliance job. You have to go from 0 to 100 versus if you get the make out, you're going from like 40 to 100. Right. So I think that if you're really advanced, it might be fine. But I think for like beginners, intermediates, it might be just to go from 0 to 100. It's a big compliance jump. It has to be done at that point very smoothly. Like, for example, you're at a bar and you're making out with a chick. It's hot and heavy. You bring her back to your place. Not much game is required. Like you just offer her a drink, push her against the wall, start making out with her. It's like pretty easy. Yeah. Let's say you had a date where you guys weren't touching each other, there was no making out, and get her back to your place. The game isn't won yet. You still have to do a lot of shit at this point because she's still at like close to 0 or maybe 10, and you have to get her to that 100 in a very smooth and progressive way. So it's like kind of the counter argument I would give to that.
Yeah. Girls get turned on like slowly versus guys, which turned on quickly, which is like, so there's a big problem with like guys and girls, I think, in understanding the differences in the dating scene, one, and also two, the differences in just how we work biologically and mentally. And so like that's a big issue, I think, with both sexes. I don't know, girls. So if a girl's stressed out, anxious, it's really tough for a girl to get turned on in that kind of a headspace. So usually you want to make them feel relaxed and chilled out. So me personally, I give off a very, like when I was younger, I used to feel like I don't know if other people feel this, but you feel like the need to like rush to settle on because then the girl's going to realize you're actually a loser.
Sure. And that's very common.
Yeah. But at some point, like you get to the point where you just become naturally and authentically cool, authentically just attractive. And then at that point, the girl's time becomes your ally and time becomes attraction. And then like now, like the longer you hang out with the girl, the more likely she is to actually like get turned on by you and get attracted to you. But that's more of an advanced mentality. It's like you practice all this little shit like over time. And eventually it all becomes habitual. The action feeds the ego. You become the person you're acting like over a period of time.
So to go back, yeah, I mean, a fair point. But to go back to the initial question, so what are some issues you're seeing with like clients or just people who are, trying to get good?
All right. So here's a couple. Lacking groundedness or masculinity. A lot of guys nowadays don't feel the comfortability of allowing themselves to be men. So when like they talk to a girl, they don't allow themselves to be the man in the relationship, or to even like present themselves as the prize. They feel like the seller, so they feel like they have to constantly pitch themselves, as opposed to being like, look, so this is my mindset. This is me and AG's mindset. When we're talking to girls, we think like this. We're like, look, I find you physically attractive. I already know that you like me, but now do I like your personality? Do I like who you are? I call this open door theory. It's like, of course, this is actually how girls get attracted to the guys. Like a girl can like look at a guy and be like, okay, he's usually my type. I'm gonna go talk to him. And if the guy's fucking weird, she's gonna be like, all right, peace, I'm out. And then like in the same way, that's how you want to be as a guy. Like if you approach a girl, like screen her, be like, wait, how old are you? And then from there, like, she'll give the age, and then she'll be like, oh, I'm 21. She'll like, usually they'll stutter and they'll change subjects really fast. Cause usually what the girl will follow up with is, well, how old are you? But it's not about how old I am. I already know you like me. Like now the goal is like, but do I like you? I'm pitching that. I'm trying to feel it out. And I'm actually legitimately, I'm not gonna lie, I actually am very picky personality wise with girls. It's something that I've developed over time.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like you don't want a psycho at your place, dude. It's gonna cut out like your kidneys, leave you dead behind a dumpster. It's just like
I do like my kidneys.
I do like them too. They're among my favorite things in my body. Getting stabbed is one of those things that I'm I'm allergic to, stabbings and bullet wounds. But it's when it comes to women, like I don't want to deal with the bullshit. One time I actually pulled a girl back here, and she was gorgeous too. She's sitting over here, and then at some point she lets it slip that she was an escort for like a month or two, like a few years ago. And at that point, I'm like, I'm not fucking you. I was like,
really? That's a deal breaker for you?
Here's the problem with that for me. I'm like, I already have like a really high sexual count, and I'm trying not to catch any STDs. I got massively lucky at this point, and
that's like a chick.
It's not just that either. So so when I talk to a girl, if I know that if I turn girls down long period wise, it's also like the action feeds the ego. So me turning girls down, I know inherently I'm the prize. So when I talk to a girl and I'm the guy that's turned down hot girls in the past for sex, it's like I'm just that guy. Like the girls will actually get even more turned on by me long term wise, because I'm teaching myself a certain lesson, which ultimately, to be honest, maybe at some point I'll stop doing it. But it's just I'm very analytical about how I improve, and I'm still improving my game, and I'm always looking at new angles to work on. Like
it's definitely a very liberating feeling when you're not slave to the pussy. Because I remember you could talk about like 3 different periods. My first period where I wasn't getting laid at all, right? Yeah. So pussy was a huge deal. Then the period where I was getting laid, but I was kind of a slave to it, in the sense that like if a chick is like, hey, I'm free tonight, I would cancel my plans to go bang that chick, right? Yeah. So that was like a long period. And then last few years I've been like at a point where I'm not slave to it. So I still love, fucking chicks, but like it's in the back burner, right? Like I'd rather, like hang out with my friends. Like, I won't cancel my friends. I won't cancel a podcast. I won't like fucking, stop what I was going to do just for a chick, right? I'll be like, well, if she wants to hang out when I'm free, cool. If she gets banged by another guy and she's no longer interested, I don't really give a shit. Unless she's like
110%. 110%. Well, you should almost be getting so many phone numbers that you forget if one girl flakes on you or some shit like that, or if one girl doesn't text you back. That's how it is with me. I actually, when I meet up with a girl, I meet up with her so I always go and work at this hookah lounge. And the reason I work at this hookah lounge is because the girls that work there are attractive. 1, 2, it's a great place for me to work and just zone out. And what I do is I invite girls over here to work to my place where I work. And I show up usually 2 hours early because I want to knock work out. And so while I'm working, dude, the girl's like, oh, I might be running 10 minutes late. And I'd be like, dude, don't worry about it. I've actually showed up 2 hours early to knock some work out. The girls show up. And now because I've brought so many girls here, the other girls that work there actually flirt with me all the time. And so then when the girl shows up and she sees the waitresses flirting with me, I built a pre-selection. So then that girl starts liking me more. So then it speeds up the interaction. The girl's like, oh, this guy's pre-selection. Even the girls here are flirting with him. The girl's like at this random like hookah lounge that she doesn't know that I go to like all the fucking time, and I know the owner. So then it's like easy for me to build pre-selection there. And
yeah, so that is definitely pretty big. I've had that happen many times, because you go to the same place and everyone knows you there. And if you're like a good tipper and you're a cool guy, like people will be very friendly with you. I've definitely had that experience as well. So earlier you mentioned having a super high body count. I don't know if we got into it in the first one, but how high are we talking?
I'm really not sure. I just have more of like a guesstimate. So it's been a constant like I think about like, I'm like, okay, so I had sex with this amount of girls, like this week and then this week and then this week and then this week.
Like a ballpark. Like, what do you think is your best guesstimate?
See, I'm not gonna lie. I actually am one of those guys that really hates saying it, to be honest, because I just think it's kind of a little bit crass. But here, this might be the first time I actually ever really like reveal it honestly on a video.
Oh shit, PWF exclusive. I love it.
I think it's somewhere between 600 and 800. I think. Like I have a very high sex drive, and it's not like I didn't go out with intent, explicit want to get a high sex count. It was more like past a certain amount, it was cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is dope. But then it just kept getting higher and higher. And not to mention I game so much and I always go out and like, that's actually a big reason too why I'm turning a lot of girls down nowadays. And it's also like, I'm not banging like, 6s and 7s or something like that. I'm not like, no offense to like those girls. It's just, my type is,
no offense to those girls, but you're not getting my dick.
Yeah.
I mean, 600 to 800 is really solid. Like I don't actually keep track either, but my guesstimate of myself would be around 400 or 500. So
damn.
You got to be, how old are you?
29.
Okay, so you're younger than me too. Damn.
Yeah, I've also been gaming for like 10 years though.
I'm gonna go on a rampage for the next like month. And
I had a friend out here in Vegas that was trying to do just that, and he was I'm not gonna lie. In retrospect, I didn't even think about it. He's a little bit of a socio, but he ended up fucking like. So he was the best salesman in Vegas, and then I was coaching him up on how to pick up girls, and he was like teaching me how to make money, and so I coached him up, and he was trying to catch up to me because he's like, I want to be as good as with girls as Denton, and he ended up fucking 100 girls in a year, which is like something
very good for the average guy.
Oh, dude, it's an insane amount. Like that, dude. That's like a little less than like one girl every 3 to 4 days. It's like he pulled one time a threesome with some virgins, and I was like, good Lord. I was like,
how is that even possible? A threesome with virgins? That's like an oxymoron.
He pulled them from a circus over here. Apparently, they were like 20 or something like that. They were out here with their parents. They were bored, and he just came along. He had really good like.
Were they like fucking sisters or something?
No, they were just close friends, from what I understand.
Okay. Yeah, that's circus.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know if you don't know Vegas, that makes it funny. Circus is like this, like, I don't know, like random casino that's like off the strip. That's where all like the people from Ohio and Wisconsin, the good old folk probably stay. To save money is like noticeably cheaper. Interesting. So out of that, 600 to 800, like what percentage is it like cold? Is it mostly cold approach, or how are you mostly meeting girls?
It's like 90. It's like 90% something like cold approach. Like it's a very high percentage. Like nowadays, to be honest, so nowadays, me and my girl generally pull like women together.
We're definitely gonna crack into that.
Yeah. It's we work a lot of online game, and we actually I've been perfecting my online game too. I could talk to you about that later too, or like whatnot. But I've been working with all kinds of crazy shit. I've been trying to improve and find new ways of improving it. We've been trying all kinds of different stuff. We're actually meeting up with like this girl later tonight. We actually had a girl last night that's supposed to come over. She didn't come over because she was out drinking with her friends for her birthday, and she got too drunk. And then so we went out and picked up girls together, like while we're out and about. And then she's a tiny blonde girl, so she ended up like getting really cold because it got late. And
how did you beat her initially?
I actually met her through cold approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Day game, night game.
Night game. Yeah.
Okay.
She's out and about. She's Vegas popular, so she's just a very extroverted person. So she just happens to know fucking everybody in Vegas. Mm-hmm. She's crazy with that. Like she just knows everybody. So like, which is actually really cool too. She's been able to help me out. So if I don't know, the off chance that Vegas is ever slow, which it almost never is, but if we get late into the night, maybe and like the strip's slowing down, I can hit her up and ask her where the parties are at, and I can take the client with me out to some celebrity party or something like that. And that was like a really good. So she's been really helpful in that kind of a way.
Let me ask you this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Not to mention she's friends with a lot of very attractive girls, so that makes it tenfold better.
Very nice. Let me ask you this question: for cold approach, would you say like what percentage of your lays? I almost hate using this term because it sounds very PUA, but whatever. Would you say come from same night, like where you pull them that night, and what percentages of like phone numbers that you get the phone number, you go on a date, then you close? Just roughly, like we're getting to
okay. During what time period? Like, what are you thinking?
Like recently in your life, like whatever.
Recently? Oh, okay.
Last few years.
Recently, it's been a mix. So I only started working on online game as of like summer. It wasn't until like guys like you popped up that I started realizing there's a lot of shit that you can improve in this stuff. Like that's like
If this ugly motherfucker can pull chicks from online.
Dude, I was getting nothing but like fat chicks, and I'm like, I get hot girls from Cold Approach. Why am I gonna go on these fucking like dating apps? These things.
You had a shitty profile, right? Or what was the issue?
Yeah, no. I started taking it more seriously, and I started going down the line, and I realized how crass in comparison to other like guys my bio was. My photos were like slightly blurry with like bad lighting. Like I started rating my photos too, and one of my photos, the girls rated me a 2 out of 10, and I was like, okay, we're fucking taking down that photo. That photo's not going back up. Yeah, but my photos were like averaging around like maybe average of like 5 to 6, like 7, like when the girls were rating me out of 10. And so then I started working on it. And then like I like legit took like, we've been taking like tons of photos. I still take photos now because I need to for the Instagram and whatnot. And it's like, it's so helpful to get like photos in. So we always carry a camera with us. So I probably took like at this point, maybe, well, we took over 1,000 photos, I think. And then out of those 1,000 photos, you rate those photos and you like see which ones get you up into the higher like 9s. And then those are the ones
when you say rate, you mean like what, photo feeler or just asking?
Photo feeler. Yeah, photo feeler.
It's pretty epic. Right now, we're building an app. It's going to be AI that you can plug and play all your photos, and it's going to tell you, which one should be first, which one should be second. So right now, we're developing the AI, and if we do it right, it should be way better than photo feeler.
See, Tinder used to do that too. Tinder used to just tell you which photo was
smart photos, but smart photos is not really. I've tested that extensively. Smart photos is not good feedback. Like. I will not release this app if I feel like it's as accurate as smart photos. Like I will toss away this project. Like, yeah. So in theory, the app should be able to do everything I do. Like, when guys post their profile or whatever, and I can rate them, like the app should be even better ideally than what I can do. That's going to be pretty epic. Like, because you can just plug in all your photos and then it'll just fucking tell you. It'll take a lot of the guesswork out.
Yeah. And there's so many ways that you can improve your photos. Like I didn't know that like the ways that you feel when you take the photo. So if you feel like in your head when somebody takes a photo of you, feel repressed and you're not in the zone, your photos look way worse to women than when you take a photo than when you're in the zone. If you're in the zone, you're laughing, you're having fun with your buddies, and somebody just takes an offhand photo of you while you're laughing. It comes out way better, and the girls rate it way higher. So I realized
I think you touched on something important. Like the best pictures are pictures that look natural, right? They shouldn't be posed. And like you mentioned, like, the best photos are when I'm laughing with my buddies. Exactly, because that looks natural, right? So it's like
it looks very non-try-hard. Girls care so much about they'll actually look at your photos. Like I can look at somebody's photos and tell how socially intelligent they are by their photos, and the girls can too. The girls can tell that like you look socially off, or like you don't like the photos you posted look kind of like a little bit like you don't have social acuity. The girls are gonna want to hang out with you, like legit. They're not interested.
Yeah, and there's like, so I would say some of the overlap, right? So guys will ask me this, well, I really have shit photos right now, but can I make up for it with good text game? And the question I ask, well, if there was a fat chick who had really good text game, would you go out with her? He's like, no. I'm like, it's the same thing. However, the one thing that I would say is radically different is we as guys, we don't really care if the girl's photos are posed. So if she's hot, doesn't matter if she just has a bunch of like headshots. Girls do care. That's like the one big difference. Like, there's definitely some things that are like very similar between guys and girls, but then there's some things that are different, and that's like one of them.
Well,
like,
guys, I realized how low the bar is. So guys on dating apps. So I imagine everybody watching this is like, oh my God, there's some guy out there that's killing it so much better than me. All right, so check this out. So these guys. So I took my girl's Bumble account, and me and AG started like kind of fucking around with it. We only asked, so we were just started trolling every guy. We just want to see what we could get away with and see what they would do. We convinced 3 guys that if they met up with Zelly, basically what would happen is that they would wear a diaper essentially when they came over to hang out with. And like we were surprised that they were good looking dudes. They looked like they're socially intelligent. Then they get on the messaging apps, and the guys are just like desperate as all hell to try to like have sex with somebody. And I was like, oh my God.
Damn, did you get some dudes in diapers showing up at her place? That would be a funny info.
Making it into a video and then like filming it, but they were like, I didn't want to do that to any of the guys, to be honest, even though they're
exactly. I wouldn't want to do that, but it would be extremely funny.
Oh, it would be hilarious. But I didn't like the idea of like, putting those guys on the spot and blasting them on social media shit as the guy that wanted to like,
definitely agree with you on that. So let's kind of get into this, because this is a topic that I think a lot of guys are going to be interested in. First off, because there's very few people doing it. Second of all, because there's even fewer people talking about it. So can you kind of get into Threesome game and what you've been doing, and like how, just run us through everything when it comes to that, and start at the beginning, like start at how exactly you set it all up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first, if you guys are going to do this, you guys have to be a guy. You have to get to a place where abundance is easy. So where women already like you. So if you're going to like pull a girl into the situation, you have to be abundant in life, because otherwise you're going to do some wonky stuff with your girl, and then she's not going to trust you, or she's going to sense on some level that you don't have abundance, and that if she was to mess around with another girl with you, you'd leave her for that girl. Like, so if you're like one of those guys that doesn't have abundance with women yet, it's going to be a little tougher for you to follow the strategy and this trick. For me, like I don't mind turning down girls. Like I turn down, like, I don't mind turning down dimes on occasion if they're weird. I don't mind. I sometimes like I want to hang out with my girl instead of hanging out with like some random dime I just met on the strip, because my girl's just way cooler. And I'll like I actually have a video here, and then so I have a video of me and AG talking to these three really gorgeous like European models, and what ended up happening was that we get to the room, and we say that we'll meet up with them later for like drinks and whatnot. Well, I end up getting back and hanging out with my girl, and we're talking it out. I'm like, dude, to be honest, I don't want to invest that much. Here, do you want to like hit her up and see if she's just down for threesomes? And we hit her up, and we told her, hey, you want to meet me and my girl at a bar? And she actually agreed to it. But then I ended up falling asleep, and we never ended up meeting up with her, which I am actually, in retrospect, a little bit regretting. But I was also proud of myself for not being needy for the situation, because other guys I feel like would be like over the top, like thirsty, trying to get that situation to like happen.
But there's a fine line between needy and just sloppy.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of my friends did also say that I need to get to the point a little bit faster on these videos, because the last one we did, we only got like 7 questions in like 3 hours.
I'll make sure we get to the Q&A. But yeah, let's kind of just get into the actual nitty and gritty of Threesome game, how to set it up. Like, just run us through the whole process.
Okay. So first, you got to tell, this is the frame you set it up with your girl. Look, these girls, like, this is for you and me. This is to enhance our relationship. The girls are more the toys.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but can you back up with your girl? What do you mean by that? Like a girl you're hooking up with? Or like, can you elaborate on that?
So me and my girlfriend, we pull threesomes and stuff. That's kind of our thing. We're very it's like, so like last night she was helping me out with texting the girls, and like I would show her the text, be like, this good text. She's like, yeah, we'll actually switch up like this. This actually be like more like if you send it like this, because she's thinking like this. I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying. So we actually game together. And she's very socially intelligent and very.
Wait, that's it. We gotta take another step back. Back. So this is a girl. You met from Cold Approach. Are you guys in an exclusive relationship, or like what's your dynamic?
We mess with girls together. I do mess around with girls separate from her, but to be honest, I don't usually. So I'm very much so. I actually have it written on my board right here. So I'm like, when I go out and game, I don't do game necessarily to get girls. I do game to become a better individual, become sharper, to become more charismatic, to get better game, to become a better coach, to become more charismatic on camera. By going out so much, it helps me polish my social skills. So then I can become a certain type of guy. Like, I'm inherently going to get attractive girls. Like, it's just inherent in my future. And so like by taking on this frame, now I can risk losing the girl to practice to try something out like that I want to try. Like maybe I'll be with a girl, but then I see a hotter girl walk by and I'll be like, anyways, peace. And I'll walk away. I'll talk to the hotter girl.
I love you, bro, but we got to keep this on point. We got, okay.
Yeah.
How did you get your girlfriend on board with threesomes?
Well, she's just that type of girl. Like, so I was like legit. If I don't find this girl, I'm not dating. I'm staying single. So if you're gonna be like, oh, I have these things that I want in a girl, but they're not hard set. No, I was like, I'm gonna stay single for the rest of my life if I never run into a girl that follows these things specifically.
So but how did you bring it up initially? Like, what was that process like?
Essentially, like, we actually talked about it. She already liked women, and I was like, I told her I have a very high sex drive, and I'm not like the monogamous type, and I told her that I had a tendency of sleeping with a lot of girls because I have a very high sex drive. And like, if she was going to try to put me in a monogamous relationship, it wasn't going to work. She says, that's actually fine. I like messing with girls too. Can we do that together? And I said, that I'd be totally down with. And then that's how it came about. And then like from there, I set it up in the right way. So she was comfortable, made sure she felt included. I made sure that she was, I I make sure that we're very clairvoyant. I'm very honest with her about a lot of stuff. I try to keep her up to date. I'm also like, I'm not like in any which way trying to manipulate her. Like we're very good friends, as well as like, just like we have very good sexual chemistry. We're like, we have like, we've been dating now for 4 or 5 months. Like, no, actually we've been dating now for over 6 to 8 months. And we're still like messing around like rabbits. Like we're still going at it. Like after this call, I got like, I think I got a date in like 2 hours with another girl that we're going to meet up with. It's a pretty hot girl. She's actually, I told my girl I wanted to get a thick girl next. So she found like a super sexy thick girl. We're going to meet up with her at that hookah lounge, grab a drink with her. And then we're going to take her back over here and mess around with her in the room right behind me. The one that smells very much of sex and debauchery.
So this is good stuff. So next, let's get into how do you go about meeting new girls, like girls for the threesome? Like what is that whole process like?
I have a 3-point system that I've been thinking about a lot lately. So one is now online dating. Online dating is massive. You guys like legit like paved a very clear road. And like I'm just surprised that a lot of guys don't think that they can improve their results on online dating. There's so many massive ways to improve your online dating. It's ridiculous. Secondly, social circle. Social circle is my weakest because like I always thought it's kind of like being bitch shit because I was like so into like cold approach. I was like, I'm gonna be the best cold approach. But then I realized that having a good social circle is very helpful in game and also make me more abundant. So I've been working on that. And then the third one is cold approach. I cold approach like a lot, like 4 to 7 times a week. I go out for like hours every day. Sometimes I'll like, if I don't have the time, I'll go out for like half an hour, maybe like an hour. And I'll just like go out with the intent of approaching. I'll walk to work and I'll approach on my way to like sit down at a coffee shop and work on my laptop.
All right, so let's get into specifics. So with online, do you have, for example, one profile with you and your girl, like that couple profile, or is it you have her profile set on bi, or like what exactly is like the approach there?
Right now, so we only have we have both of our accounts. So she has both her accounts on Tinder, Bumble, and then I have my accounts on Tinder and Bumble.
Is it set to girls? Like is her account sent to girls?
We strictly do it for just us. Hers is strictly for girls. She doesn't mess around with guys. She just mess around with girls with me.
And so what's her approach? Like when she matches with a girl, she's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. We're doing a threesome.
Well, no, we're in their face. Like our photos are like my photos are on her account and my
okay. So you have like the coupley photo. Mm-hmm. So it's
we've very sexy photos. They're also very they're tested. They're like proven to be the highest like rated photos. I'm also like, so you actually want to see this? Actually here, I'll show you like what a weirdo I am. I'm constantly thinking about new ways to improve in this kind of stuff. So like I have like a long list of different things. Like, so these are all like my different notes here. I'm gonna pull up I actually have a section for Tinder bios that I'm doing split tests on between her and my account. So like, here's some like bios. So
you can move it. Yeah, you with the lighting, you can't really see it. You just read it. Yeah, you can't really see it. Yeah. Just tell it.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so I'm trying a bunch of different stuff out, and I know it makes me attracted to women, and I know how the women kind of think now through these dating apps. So I'm trying out different stuff, trying to work it out. So, so like for one example, at the very end of my profile, like so you just see pictures of me, and then my lighting just went out. I'm currently in a relationship with an amazing girl, so I'm looking for someone who's bisexual. If that's not you, no harm, no foul. Now I found that one actually sucked, so then I started trying this one. Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we date girls together. ... Kids these days, what will they think of next? And I found that was more of a lighthearted way of saying it, and I saw that girls would react to that better. I tried. So then I would say things like, let's see, what's another good one that I used? It was, you have girls. This one was like more just to like scare off the girls that I didn't like. Forewarning, I'm liable to turn anything into a joke, and I'm not terribly PC working on it. But if you're easily offended, I don't know what to tell you. So I put that in there because I wanted to actually, so in my personal experience, what I've noticed is like the more your profile like kind of offends a certain portion of people, the more that other people are going to look at it and be like, yeah, that's what I want. This kind of guy's the guy that I'm looking for. And then
100% correct. So the more polarizing you are, I think that's the word you're looking, polarizing, the more you'll get less matches, but the matches you get will be more solid. So for example, I used to run this experiment. I love sharing this. I used to have 2 profiles, my regular profile that, I share on my YouTube videos. And then this 50 Shades of Grey profile, which was all just like is shirtless pic, like BDSM memes, like really, really sexual, and the bio was super sexual, right? Unfortunately, you can't do it anymore because Tinder will ban that shit in like 2 seconds. But anyway, so let's say on my regular profile, I got 20 matches a day. On the 50 Shades one, I got like 4 matches a day, right? Way more matches on the regular one. However, in terms of dates, it was 50-50 because on the 50 Shades of Grey one, maybe like 25% of the girls I matched with, I met up with, versus on the regular one, like 5 to 10%. So the more polarizing you are, the more solid the matches are going to be. That's something I found time and time again. I think that's kind of what you were hinting at. So for your profile on Tinder, do you have like also pictures of her in there?
I have some photos of they're partially wholesome, like they're cute. I have a photo of her, so she has a banging body. I don't know how much I don't know. Should I actually here? I'll show you like one of the photos that we're using. It's like her face is covered up pretty good, but it's like we tested this stuff out, and like I just found that girls would like see that, and like if they're into girls and they see like her, and they're like, oh fuck yeah. Also too, I'm trying to protect her identity.
Yeah. No, I respect that, man. Yeah, don't feel like you have to share that.
No, it's chill. Well, here, so I'll put it this way: like, there's a couple guys right now that are kind of, like talking a lot of crap on me, and it's kind of like difficult to like, I know that like. I don't want them like throwing my girlfriend under the bus trying to like be dickheads.
What are you talking about in the chat?
Huh? Oh no, not here. It's like other YouTubers. Okay. So I got like some slam campaigns going on with me on and off.
Send me the videos later. I want to check it out. But yeah, fuck that noise. Okay, she's got a. Is that you in the picture?
Yeah, that's me.
You look different, but she's got a very nice booty. I approve.
I was working out a lot on the arms. But see, the funny thing is I always have a stomach. So like that photo right there specifically, I had
your arms look like way bigger than that photo. I know, like where the fuck I didn't want to say anything, but we're like, where do you get those arms from?
Genetics. I've been working out for a while, but I have a hard time cutting fat. So I get big pretty fast when I want to, but I just get fat really quick too. Like if you actually watch like half my infields, like I have like a stomach on me. Like, but
all right, we're going on a tangent again. Let's circle back. Yeah. So the threesome thing. So you guys got a profile running. You got profile running. She's got profile running. Now, would you say the majority of the leads come from her profile or from your profile?
I'm not really working my profile that much, to be honest. I'm getting like a lot more leads currently. Like I stopped honestly working on my profile for a little bit because it was just I'm out gaming and I'm working a lot and I haven't had time really to swipe. I was actually thinking about getting maybe a virtual assistant at some point, maybe to deal with it for me. But yeah, I'm getting so many leads from cold approach right now that it's like I go out and like I get like a few girls that are into me, and then from there like we kind of work them out. Like last night, me and my girl were trying to figure out between like 3 different girls which one we were trying to hang out with. So it's like I already got too many leads.
But where did those leads come from? They came from cold approach or they came from her profile?
2 of them came from her profile last night. 1 came from cold approach, but I only approached like 3 girls last night. Yeah, it's like last night was kind of like a little bit of a work night. There was what was going on with that night? AG's out of town. I don't have a boot camp this weekend. I have like a few friends in town. I had a lot of work I was trying to catch up on that was stressing me out. So I didn't have a lot of time to go out and game even though Saturday. So I went out for maybe like half an hour, and I got in like a few approaches in that time while I was like kind of listening to some audibles. And yeah, that's what ended up popping off.
All right. So roughly speaking, how many threesomes have you and your new girl had?
Honestly, we keep like
just ballpark.
Honestly, not too many. Only 6 so far.
Okay, but, so out of those 6, like just try to think about where did those leak. And I know I'm kind of getting very very technical questions, but I know this is the stuff that the audience wants to know. So I'm putting myself in my 21-year-old, fucking no pussy shoes and asking questions from that set. So out of those 6, like how many do you think came from her profile, and how many came from her approach?
Half and half. Half and half.
All right. Yeah. Solid.
It's not like, so here's the thing, when you approach girls in like going out, I actually found this. Brandon, Tangent King. That's actually a good one. So
yeah, we're gonna have to change you to Tangent King.
Yeah, I'm actually down with that shit. It's too much game lately, honestly. I think I just get in that kind of shit. So here's the thing that I would say. It's like, so if you're gonna lead with like trying to pull girls, you have to really quickly feel out if they're into girls to begin with. So what I'll usually do is that I will essentially like, so you want to like start off with the girl, like maybe like I'll usually make a joke about, I'll be like this, wait, are you into women? And she's like, no. I'm like, all right, the only reason I ask is because legit, straight up women, sexy as fuck. I don't see how any girls honestly can find guys attractive. I think like we're all like on average like butt fuck ugly. I'm glad that you do find us attractive. I'll gesture at myself usually. And then like that's like a good way to pop it
So
open.
are you doing these approaches with your girl?
I only recently, to be honest, I actually was really nervous to do it with her because like it's we've been like I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was almost like we were kind of like feeling out whether or not like we should just like split it off for a second because it's like very hot and heavy, and I was kind of like I work so much and she like I don't have time to hang out with her like I should. Like I don't have time to like really do anything because I'm always working, and like she needs like somebody's gonna be around. So we almost broke it off. So I was kind of like, and now we're kind of like thinking about like keeping it together. And like still hanging out. And she's accepting the fact that I just work so many hours. But yeah, it's been like kind of
All right, Mr. Tangent King, back on the so out of the 6, right? You said you had met 3 from cold approach. Now, out of those cold approach ones, were those ones that you approached by yourself and then you transitioned it, or was it once you guys approached together?
Yeah, it was.
I'm just trying to get for like a real feel for like exactly what the method is here.
Yeah, like she gets like so through her app. I'm not gonna lie, the girls that wanted to hang out and like have sex through her app were like just instantaneously down. They just wanted to do it, and like from there it was just as easy as us like
Right.
setting it up right, not like putting too much pressure on them. When it comes to like me going out and gaming and whatnot, if I decide that I like a girl and I'm like really feeling her, then I have to like start like doing like I have some lines and stuff that I'll start popping the girl open with, and I'll be like, I have a girlfriend, but we're in an open relationship where she like, her and me mess around with girls and stuff like that, and I'll usually bring it up. But you have to bring it up early in the interaction because if you bring it up late, the girl feels kind of tricky, mad and pissy.
Interesting. So you recommend bringing it up early. Okay.
It's actually it's very, so what I've realized at this point is like when I do it, is like the more that you just assume it's okay and normal, the more the girls will actually be into it. And it's actually funny too, because you were like this, the girls will actually be more apt to want to sleep with you faster because like, oh, this is not a guy that's going to judge me for that kind of stuff. This is a guy that's going to be just like one of those people that's going to be more relaxed with it. So like that's one of the things that I think about it with. It's just like they're just relaxed with it.
Do all the same rules of text game apply in these situations, or is there something different that you're doing? Threesome leads, let's call them.
I have a messaging fundamentals list that I found really works for me. So there's like certain things you got to understand, like everything's attraction and comfort, but it's also like, so here, I'll pull it up. The idea is like, I'm the prize, not the seller. So when I'm talking to a girl, I don't know if I like her yet. So underlying theme is like, are you one of those people that is like, are you crazy? Are you weird? Are you psycho? Do I click with you? Would I want to hang out with you in person? Would I even want to be friends with you? Like if I wouldn't even like, so my persona when I'm talking to girls, if you don't even have a personality, there's no chance of me having sex with you. Like, so I even put it in my bio. I said something like, I'm one of those weirdos that is into personalities. I know. And I said, like, actually, I'll pull it up and I'll actually read it to you guys.
Is that from Endless Options? Is that where you got that idea from?
I made it up.
Okay, because they do something very similar.
I helped them out with their program and their system a little bit.
I remember you mentioned that in the first live stream we did. While you pull that up, let me ask you this question. So the threesome dates, how do those go? Is it usually straight to the house, or you meet them in public? Like, give us a walkthrough of a threesome date.
It's a little bit of trial and error. One of them was really fucking weird. So we actually had it. So my girl sometimes doesn't like the girls. Like, so what big thing that happens is that the girls will like be like, oh yeah, I'm down for like threesome stuff. Then they get over here and then they start trying to be conniving. And they try to like steal me off my girl. Mm-hmm. And like, she doesn't like, obviously she doesn't like that shit for like obvious reasons. And then she's like, dude, we're not fucking her. And I'm like, I agree. Let's not do that shit.
Okay. Interesting.
Which actually nowadays, like we talked about it a little bit. And I think actually that's something that we're going to start like, that's something that we're going to like now, we're just going to ignore it. The girls are honestly like more our toys, to be honest. Yeah, all right, actually here, and I'll put it this way too. I don't know. It's not like the dates, like we try to keep them as chill as possible, and we try to meet up from a spot that's not our place, because if you meet them up at our place and they're fucking weird, we're not trying to have them steal shit or have them like come in and like start drama, and then maybe like I've had girls that like get really obsessed with me and they know where I live and they could really fuck with my shit. And I'm not trying to have that happen. So now we try to meet them at a neutral spot, see if they're cool and normal. And then if they're cool and normal and we get a good vibe, then we bring them back to our place somewhere nearby.
When you meet them at the bar, do you generally like let your girl talk to the other girl and you're just kind of chilling in the back, or are you taking an active role? Because I remember I haven't had as many threesomes as you, but when I have had threesomes, I would just let my girl just girl talk with a chick, and I was just like the director, directing things, like moving it forward. But like I was doing maybe 10 to 15% of the talking, right? The girl, and I'm just like moving things along, like doing playing like musical chairs.
Well, when I first originally started doing it, I felt really uneasy with so like, for example, I didn't want to flirt overtly with the girl in front of her because I didn't want to make her feel like any which way. I feel like I was like, because, you know, when you first start doing this kind of stuff, you want to let the girl know you're not going to leave her for another girl. Like, cause like, you know, girls are very sensitive to that kind of shit. But then over time, I'm like, dude, I need to flirt with the girls. And she's like, yes, I agree. Like, you know, don't worry about me. I'm confident. You're chill. So then now we're flirting with more and more and shit like that. We're trying to get like more of that kind of energy going. It's like, so we do maybe like a 50-50 speaking and talking, and we try to like make it more into like a very sexual friend kind of thing is what we're doing. Like very like sexual vibes on and off. I prefer it if the girl is more sexual towards my girl, because if she's sexual towards my girl and my girl, like it's a lot more easy for a girl to like have that energy with another girl, I guess you could say, than it is for a guy, because a guy gets it and a guy's gonna like most guys are gonna be fucking weird about it. Most guys are gonna be like, oh yeah, like now this 100 now like the girl's obligated to give me sex, you know, some shit like that, instead of like being like,
you signed the contract.
Yes, you signed the contract. Time to go.
Sign the contract. No going back on that. It's like that It's Always Sunny episode. So yeah, so these girls are gonna have to fill out this contract. Yeah. Okay, so like kind of, I don't want to like beat this horse to death, but like any final thoughts on like the threesome thing? Like any tips you would give to a guy who's maybe, let's say, okay, let's do the scenario. A guy, he is, you know, he has a girl that he's having casual sex with. She's open to the whole threesome thing. He's never had a threesome. What tips would you give that guy to like to start doing what you're doing?
You got to make sure that she's included. You're being empathetic about the situation. Like you're not like, so I know a lot of guys in the pickup community, like they're very much like women are objects. If you have that mindset, dude, you're not doing nearly as good with girls as you think you are. Guys that are like,
that's more, I would say, red pill community rather than pickup.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's still some pickup guys out there that like that. Like they're like the Rubik's Cube. Like there is like a level and a place for that, like when you're in development, but you need to move past that and like get to the place where it's like altruism, like abundance. And then once you get there and you talk to a girl, like you really connect with the girl and you really care about her. Like from there, the girl senses that you're the type of guy that if she was to sleep with other girls with, that you'd be open, like you wouldn't do anything to hurt her. And now she's like more open to it. Now she's going to actually allow it. Now you can actually build that fun vibe between the two of you. And you also want to make sure that she feels like she's a part of the pickup too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Like, you know, again, the few threesomes I had, it was like I got the girl very involved in the process, because the last thing you want to do is get, you know, the second girl on board and then your girl, you know, doesn't like her, but she doesn't like her not because she doesn't like her, but because she feels left out of the process. So it's very important to get your girl involved in the process. And I think the mistake a lot of guys make with threesomes, they frame the whole thing as like, baby, just do this for me, do this for me. That's the wrong frame. Do this for us. It's for us. We're doing this for both of us.
110%.
I think that's
what it is.
Very important distinction. Any other big tips that you would say?
Well, that's actually, dude, that's the original problem that me and her had. She felt like she was doing it for me as opposed to us each other. That's actually how we ended up fixing it, the situation. It was like we more are doing it as like a team, like a Bonnie and Clyde team. One last thing you could do is probably like, if you're going to do it, like if you're going to approach cold, so cold approach, not too many people give advice on how to pull cold approach. You actually want to go indirect, direct, or indirect. And then from there, you want to become a part of the social circle, add like subtle under like sexual tones to the conversation while also being masculine, while being like congruent, while also being empathetic. Like if you're the masculine guy, you're going to be attractive to the girl. If you have like all the right value traits, like in your personality, the girl's going to get attracted to you. Now you just have to underpin like that kind of thing. And also like slide it in there. Like at some point, like once they like you and you're part of the social circle, now you can start doing your work. Now you can actually see if the girls are down for like threesomes and whatnot. And if you can pull a girl, like cold approach is like a different beast when it comes to like pulling threesomes with a girl.
Gotcha. Good stuff, man. All right, so guys, we're gonna take your questions. I know last time me and Denton did a live Q&A. We just fucking bantered for 2 hours, but so this time I'm gonna make sure we get through all of your questions. I do have one ask, and I almost hate doing this, but guys, if you're watching this, we got 112 live viewers. Please smash the like button. You know, it's I'm trying to be competitive on YouTube, and it really helps if you guys hit the like button. It drives the algorithm up, and it helps get the message out. So do me a favor, guys, hit the like button. Let's get this to at least 80 to 90 likes. And if you guys can do that, we will make sure to, get into more questions. We're going to take your questions either way, but if you guys give us that little motivation, we'll try to get through even more questions. All right, so let's begin. Bro, you should get on Entrepreneurs in Cars, one of the best red pillars in the game. I think it's kind of like a little one of the best red pillars in the game. That's like saying like one of the best, like, I don't know, like that's like one of the fastest like Toyota Prius like drivers or something like that. But yeah, I actually have reached out to him multiple times. Me and him were in talks. He was going to come on. He's the only person ever in the history of me doing this podcast that has flaked on me, meaning I've obviously had people decline coming on, but I've never had anyone like say they're going to come on and then flake. He's the only one. So yeah, I mean, like at this point, I'm not too interested after like shit like that. Plus I think he's highly overrated. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening. I mean, if he wants to reach out and come on, I'll have him on, but thoughts on paying for dating apps like Bumble Boost or Premium on Tinder Gold and Platinum? Is it needed? Sticking with free option good enough? So I think it's a good idea. I like to pay for Bumble Boost and Tinder Gold. I think it's definitely worth it. Like shit, it's like $20, $30 a month. It's definitely worth it. It's not so much that you can't get laid with the free versions. It's just it's more time consuming. And to me, I'd rather save time. What are your thoughts on this, Denton? Do you pay for Tinder Gold?
Yeah, like, well, if you're trying to maximize like potential, like you should 100% like pay for an app. Like the only reason you wouldn't pay for an app is like, I don't know, if you're already getting so many matches to where it's like, which I don't think anybody like really could ever get too many matches, but like, yeah, 110% pay for it. Like it doesn't make sense not to. Yeah,
dude, it's like, I think there's a lot of like cheap people in the pickup community. Okay. But yeah, like you don't want to be cheap. It goes back to the whole, I remember one time, dude, this was like a legendary fucking thing. But in the free Playing with Fire Facebook group, there was this like one guy, and he had a chick who was down to come straight to his place. She was pretty hot too. The only thing she asked is that he paid for his Uber, and his Uber was $12. Guess what he did? He turned her down, and I'm like, dude, it's 12 fucking bucks. You have a hot big titty girl who's down to come straight over. Like, don't fucking be cheap, like And well, average, I found that girls really don't like cheap guys. I'm not saying you have to drop money on girls. I never do that. But girls don't like a guy who's cheap. Have you kind of found that as well, Denton?
Well, the reason that they don't necessarily – so there's a lot of reasons why they might not like a cheap guy, but the big one is like the investment. So it makes her feel like she doesn't like him. So the girl's going to get an ego about it sometimes. So like, he didn't buy me a drink. What an asshole. It's usually why I'll ask a girl to buy me a drink first, just like playfully, because then she asks it. It's just redundant.
Sure. No, I'm totally on board with that. I also am not, I'm not a believer in just buying random chicks drinks, but I'm talking about something a little bit different. Like it more like you're at a restaurant and you like don't really tip, right? Or you're like, like shit like that, like just like being cheap in general.
I agree with you. I think it's like, I think you could go almost either way with it. You can argue either or. It's just like whatever you choose, you got to be like adamant about that. And that's just who you are. Like, don't be wishy-washy with it.
I guess kind of like the analogy I always use is treat girls like you would treat your good friends, that you fuck, right? I guess you don't fuck your friends. Like that's the extra component. So meaning like, okay, so there was this like AMS has this video and he talks about like how if a girl needs to like push the date back like 20, 30 minutes, he reschedules on her because that's a shit test. I'm like, well, what if you're talking to your buddy and you guys have plans and your buddy's like, yo, man, running late with work, I'll be there 20 minutes late. Would you be like, never mind, dude? Right? Like you would never fucking do that with your friends. And if this is something you would never do with your friends, then you probably should not do it with a girl either. So like, let's say let's say you haven't seen your buddy in a while. You guys are out for drinks. Would you be like super anal about him paying, or would you just be like, dude, don't worry about it. I got this round. You got next round. Right. Yeah. So it's like, I think you have to use a lot of common sense. And that's the analogy I always give. Like another one is like, oh, dude, like we have a date set up in 5 days. How do I keep the lead warm? How do I keep the lead warm? Well, okay. Well, what if your buddy was in town who you haven't seen and you guys have plans set up a week from now? How would you keep your buddy warm? You really wouldn't. You would probably hit him up, like a few times here and there, but you wouldn't like really be over analyzing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it is like the same concept. I know it's not completely the same. Like there's obviously, like with girls, there's the whole tension, sexual component. And also like, girls are in some ways different than guys, but I think it's a good analogy to fall back on.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. So Alex, have you heard of Austin Dunham? I've honestly never heard of him. Have you ever heard of him, Denton?
No, I'm not really into red pill guys though, to be honest.
I'm not into guys in general. No, there's actually some pretty cool ones I found. I was initially very dismissive of the Red Pill community, but like Anthony Johnson, the founder of the 21 convention, is pretty cool.
Oh, I like.
But yeah, it's dude, that it's like the pickup community. It really runs the gamut. Like you have some guys who are pretty cool and some guys who are like super fucked up.
Well, using it to like, as long as you're using the red pill stuff to improve and like improve your life. But I just noticed that there's a good portion of them that use it as a reason to perpetuate victimhood. And like that's why I can't improve with girls.
100% agreed. They're using it as an excuse to justify their lack of success.
Or like actually putting any effort into the like improving themselves. Like I'm going to use this as an excuse to never try to improve with women. That's some loser shit.
You see this with money in different communities. Like, oh yeah, the rich people, they fucking, they cheat. So the average guy can't get ahead. Do the rich people cheat? Yeah, sure they do. But like, dude, like anyone can be successful in America, right? So like you see this with money, like these limiting beliefs guys have, like, it's the fucking rich people. Like, like I need this person to get into power. Like, no, you don't. Like having a business has nothing to do with who's president. So yeah, like it's limiting beliefs. And I do agree with you 100% that red pill can be used to justify limiting beliefs that you have or just your lack of success in general. But to answer your question, I've never heard of him, but I'm down to check him out. I'm always open to, getting in touch with new people as long as it's someone who I respect. Alejandro, you should open a separate thread on your forum where we can discuss your live chats every time they come on. That would be good dialogue. That's interesting. So basically like make a forum for every live stream I do, and then we can discuss what happened. That's a good idea, man. And I'm going to heavily consider that. That might be good. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it does. But yeah, the forum is becoming active on. Denton, do you ever go on my forum?
I actually haven't yet. What is it? Just Playing with Fire online?
No, it's forums.playingfire.com.
I'm actually typing into it now, so afterwards I can check it out.
Yeah, man, it's a cool community. I'm actually really happy with the way it's developed and grown because we have a lot of guys. Like initially, for like the first year, I had to literally answer every question because no one was like everyone was just asking for help. No one was doing anything. But now we have a lot of guys who are contributing as well, which is what I love to see. So I think it's become a really cool community. We're getting to a point almost where like initially my promise was that if you post a question in the forums, I will at some point answer you. I can no longer deliver on that for free use. I try to answer for most people, but like there's too many questions simply. Like I still answer every question.
That's your problem.
Yeah, but I think it's okay because a lot of people are helping each other, right?
I was gonna say, get some moderators, get some like moderators you trust.
Oh yeah. We have a few. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Bro, can you do a video and post on how to properly use sex toys? I never used a handcuff line because I wouldn't be able to follow through the one time I tried. So what are your thoughts on this, Denton? Like, how do you fuck with sex toys?
I do actually. If you guys want me to, I can actually legit pull them out.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
If you guys want to see like that kind of shit? All right, go back to the sex.
All right, boys, grab the lube. We got a show. While he does that, I'm just going to answer another question. I was exercising in the park, and she was approaching an older woman. Wait, he's back.
Yeah, I got a big box here. So here's the thing: like when it comes to this kind of stuff, like like I said, I have a very high sex drive, and like the less you judge the girl, the more open to like other shit she'll be. So if you guys were trying to like get girls and like doing crazy stuff with you, like I kind of like think of myself like a sexual connoisseur in a way. So here, first things first, my bed, it's a silk bed. It's like a king plus size bed. It's like a nice bed, very soft. Also, I have like restraints constantly underneath it that I can pull out at any point that I need to. I got them for the wrists and the feet. Here. All right. How risque can I be? Because all right. Like
you can be pretty risque as long as there's no nudity.
Okay. It's nothing bad. It's nothing too terrible. So like these handcuffs are dope for a couple of reasons.
I used to have the same exact ones, I think.
Dude, these are dope, man. They're really like they're
Amazon.
These ones actually I'm not even gonna play. I got from a girl. Actually, this one specifically I had. So I was trying to do anal with a girl at one point, and I was trying to get her open to it, like which I don't even like anal to be honest. Like it's just
I don't either. I think it's highly overrated.
I had like a little test kit, like kind of like work her into it because she wanted to try it. I have like I have like this is actually one of my favorites personally. So it's a cock ring that has a vibrator with bunny ears on the end. So like it how do I put it? It has different settings, and you put it on, you can actually use it.
You find that makes the girl come a lot easier?
Yeah, and also keeps you really hard too, because it cuts off circulation. It's a lot of fun to do with a girl. So we usually set it up to where like it hits her clit, and then from there, like it's really good. But some girls it's overstimulating for. My girl's really sensitive, so she can't really use this, but I don't mind using it on other girls. I got like shit like this. This one right here is actually something that you guys do have to get. Like the Hitachi ones. The thing is,
dude, you got the Hitachi. You got the wireless or the cord, the one with the cord.
I had one that was I bought like 4 of these things so far, and they keep breaking. So this one's wireless, but it's broken, and so now I can't use it. Then I got another one, and out of the box it was already broken. But you can't bring back sex toys to the place. You have to send it back to the factory, and that's like it's like a load of BS, honestly. Here's actually something else a lot of guys don't do. Bring out a condom case, so this way, like you don't like accidentally like have a condom that like gets broken or gets like heat damage in your back pocket. So then it like keeps it more together, and then just lube, flavored lube. So like this is my favorite. It's like just Astroglide. It's strawberry flavored. So
is that water based or oil based?
Let me check. Actually, I'm not sure.
I generally, from what I found, find water based lubes to be like easier on girls.
Water based.
Yeah. The better, like oil based can be really tough on a girl's vagina. I think we as guys, we often forget that like, women has a very like delicate balance going on down there. And it's like, very easy like to upset it. Like, it's not like she's going to get an STD, but like yeast infection, stuff like that, which is like, pretty unpleasant for women. I mean, honestly, I think that, the best way to learn this stuff is honestly just to fuck around. Like just try shit. Not with a girl, probably not the first time you're banging a girl, but a girl who you've been seeing, right? When you have that comfort, like be like, hey, I just got this. Let's try it. Like I personally have a Hitachi, and I used to have handcuffs. I lost them. I just ordered them again. But like, so I just fuck around with the shit that I'm into. Let me ask you this question out of curiosity: how high would you say your sex drive is?
Like top 1%.
Like what? Like how many times do you want to fuck a day, basically?
Like 3.
Okay.
3, 4.
Dude, like a misconception about me is people think I also have a high sex drive. I actually have a pretty low sex drive. Like my sex drive, I would say, is in like the bottom 50%. Like I don't get me wrong, I love fucking chicks. It's just that like after I fuck, I typically want to take like a day or so and chill. It's like, again, I could fuck, dude. I've had nights where I would fuck 4 or 5 times, but like for me, like my natural desire is actually on the lower end. And I actually do think that if my sex drive was higher, I would probably have like my game would be better. Like I think like I would be more motivated, right? Like right now, I'm more motivated to make a dope video on YouTube than to sleep with a new girl. Right?
That's pretty nuts. What drove you even into this industry to begin with? Was it just
I mean, it's still a sex drive. Like I was still, not getting laid. Yeah. Like, it's not like 0. It's decent, I guess. But like every girl who I've ever dated had a higher sex drive than me.
Oh, damn. That's not bad. That's, to be honest, it probably means the girls like you a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. But like, like for example, when I had a girlfriend who was like living with me, I would fuck her once to twice a day. She would want to fuck like 4 to 5 times a day. Which is okay, because you can you build a lot of anticipation. You're like, listen, you're not allowed to touch yourself until tonight when I'm gonna fuck you. No masturbating. Like I'll do that shit. Like, but baby, I'm really horny. No, wait. Right? Like shit like that. That makes the sex way better for chicks.
There's so many things that you can do. Like at one point, like last night, something I did was like that I love doing. So I have a bunch of different stuff I'll do. I'll be like, put your hands on the bed. On the headboard, and you're not allowed to take your hands off. I don't care what I do to you. And then I'll tell the girl like she can't come until I tell her to. By the way, my girl just calls me daddy everywhere.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, she actually called me dad in front of her mom, and I didn't know. Like I was kind of like, what the fuck? I was like, shit. I looked over at her, and she's kind of like,
how did the mom react?
They actually have a very relaxed relationship between them, and I was actually surprised. Like when we ended up having sex, we messed around at her place. And she actually had her mom staying with her at the time. and her mom, like we were loud. Well, she was louder than I was, obviously, but she was, there was a lot of screaming going on, and it was her brother was there too, so it was really
the brother's like jerking off. He's like, Denton, fuck my little sis.
Yeah, me and her brother though are pretty tight. He's a good dude. I like him. He's a good guy.
He's like, hey, bro, you ever want to have a threesome?
He actually respects me a lot. He knows like what I do for a living, and he thinks it's dope.
That's good, man. Yeah, that's good. It's good to have a good relationship with your girl's family. I've also, like, every girl I've had, I had a good relationship with her family. What's it called? What was I going to ask you? I completely lost the thought. All right, let's next to that question. I was exercising in the park and was going to approach an older woman. She smiled at me when she walked by, but I didn't want to make her uncomfortable because I don't know if she's married. Should I have done it? The answer is yes. You have no way of knowing if she's married or not. And even if she is married, it's not going to make her uncomfortable. It's going to be flattering. She's going to go home to her husband and be like, it's so cute. Like, young guys still find me attractive. Like, as long as you're not creepy, you're going to make her day. So there's no downside. I think guys need to, like, scrap this idea out of their head. There's a lot of things in life where there's an upside and a downside. Like, for example, let's say like investing money or like whatever, stock market or crypto. The downside is you could lose your money. With cold approach, there is no downside. Right? The worst thing that can happen is she feels flattered. You just, kind of beat down your anxiety. So it's really a win-win, right? So I think that once you can kind of make that frame shift, like things become a lot easier. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so honestly, it's an irrelevant like problem if she's married or not. Like you're looking for excuses not to approach because you have what's called anti-momentum. The way you build momentum is you go out consistently over a period of time. You prove to yourself that you're a person that goes and talks to girls. So what do? You go out like minimum 3 times a week, and you make it like almost like you're hitting the gym. You hit the gym like 3 times a week. Do the same thing with this. You go out with the intent of approaching for maybe half an hour, an hour. But then as you keep going out, it's easier and easier to approach. You start having more fun doing it. Eventually, you're going out for like 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hours at times to go out and talk to girls.
Damn, dude, you're doing that long of sessions.
I've done like 13, 14 like at times.
I've done long sessions, but nowadays in the last few years, I don't go more than like 2-3 hours. Like, and that's like if I'm out and about with all my friends. I don't know, you fucking young whippersnappers in Vegas.
Oh no, dude! I actually had the problem. So I went out and gamed so much, so I actually have to stretch in the morning now because my calves get fucked and my knees. So I'm only 29, but my knees got so bad that I couldn't walk up.
pick up injuries.
So I was like, I couldn't like straighten my legs. So I was like this. I was like just like I couldn't straighten my legs in the morning, so I'd have to get stretched out before I could walk. And then it was like I was just doing so much walking and approaching. Yeah.
All right, guys, take note. Alex always makes us wait to keep frame. This is what you should be doing with women, to be late, show them you're higher somebody. It's funny. I don't know if Pablo is actually serious or not. I assure you guys, this is not some elaborate game thing by me. I'm just naturally a person who's always late. It's one of the things about myself that I want to change, but I don't really see that changing anytime soon. So, yeah, that would be funny if it was like some some big plan on my part to like try to gain my audience. Bro, can you give good alternatives to that was fire text? So, okay, so what he's saying is, let's see if you have anything good. So, like after you hook up with a girl, I recommend texting the girl like an hour or two later. That was, and then 2 fire emojis. What do you usually text a girl after sex who you want to see again?
That's a really good way to send a text. I actually really like that, and I totally agree with you too. I'm actually going to steal that. So that's one thing I want to say about you. You're very good with like the messaging. I'm actually writing that down. So for me,
and I juggle like no one else.
Yeah, basically, I just say something along the same lines. Basically, like that fire text is dope. I kind of spitball it. Like it depends on like what happens specifically. Like I'll be like, so my biggest problem is convincing girls that I actually like them. So I like after sex usually. I'll say something along the lines of what you said. Then I'll ask them out for another date. I'll be like, hey, what are you actually up to this week? We should go like do something. That way, so she knows that I actually like her. That's if I decide I want to hang out there afterwards. I didn't want to just.
It's funny. I had the same problem. Girls often always say like, "Well, I didn't even think you liked me," like all the time. Yeah. That is something that like I would say it's at a point where it's like almost a problem, like where I have to like show more intent because I'm like just like so non-needy that like, dude, every girl, well, not every, but a lot of the girls like I date or booty calls, they always say like, "Babe, like I understand you're not needy, but can you be a little bit more needy?" Because like Sometimes I don't even know if you give a shit about me, like, because that's like the level of non-neediness. So yeah, I mean, it's a quality problem to have. But I'm going to push back on this idea. How does the "that was fire" text not match your personality? Like, what kind of, like, I understand some of my texting might not match every personality, but that one is like so neutral. That's like, hey, what's up? Not matching your personality. Like, what, like, how does that not match? Like, you don't have to be 100% congruent to everything. Like, you can, it's okay if that text is not 100% congruent. Like, I don't know, like what could you be doing where that text is totally not congruent? Like, the sex is like really, really fucking bad. So then, like, saying that was fire just wouldn't make sense. Like, the girl's like crying during sex, and you're like, that was fire. So as long as the sex was good, that text should be congruent. Okay. Do you lose respect when a coach lands low status girl? No hate, but AG Hayden got some shit for doing that in one of his videos. No, not really. I mean, first of all, I don't know the video that's in question. Do you know what they're talking about?
To be honest, no, but I'll put it this way. So me and AG, we like, so Avery, the girls that we do things for with cameras are not the girls usually that we mess around with. So Avery never actually posts up the girls that he pulls. So if he pulls a girl, he won't post it on YouTube because he doesn't want to get banned. And, the whole ban culture is kind of tough. So he'll put that more to his practice. The girls that so this is the way we are. We're very much about the mastery. So like if we see a girl, so like if you actually look at the T-Rex video, I have a video on my channel like where it's like T-Rex picks up cute girl. I didn't find her attractive. Like, so, but what Avery does is like, so Avery's like, look, let's go troll her. It'll make a dope video. And you never know what video is going to pop off. It's going to be good for your channel. Your channel is going to benefit from learning this. And so like, it's essentially, Avery is very much like a huge troll. Like he doesn't like, just cause he like, I don't know, cause he approaches a girl on camera. Sometimes he just does it to mess around and like just get a good video. Like he always says that like there's certain coaches that like had like a video where like the girl wasn't even attractive and like it popped off and it got him a lot of views. To be honest, like I don't know, it's like the girls that Avery gets with are very hot. I'm sorry, like he's like
I've gone out with Avery. I've seen him, like I haven't seen him bang a chick, but I've seen the girls he talks to, and they're I'm not hiding in Avery's closet.
He's pretty prolific. He's pretty good. I'm not.
But yeah, I'll stand behind Avery. And yeah, like one video like that, I don't know what the video in question is, but like one video really wouldn't like affect my thoughts on a coach. Like, I mean, unless we go to the extreme of like are you familiar with the Frank Knight game, the chick he pulled and made a video on?
I've heard of Frank Knight game. He used to be an assistant
for RSD.
Yeah,
he made a video where he pulls this really, really fat girl, like obese.
Oh no.
And like she's ghetto and shit. And like that's such an extreme. But like to me, it's more of like also how seriously does the coach take it? If he's like fucking around, like, okay, yeah, he's fucking around. But like he's treating it like it's a legit pull. And he's like when I saw that, I mean, it's not like I really respected Frank Knight game, but like my respect went to like the negatives after that. So yeah, as long as something like that. Like I also look for different things. Like I look at like when I meet a guy, I can usually tell pretty to a high degree of probability roughly how good they are with girls. I don't even need to meet a guy, just talking to a guy. I can tell like to a rough degree of probability like whether they're good or not. And I have had some people on the channel, like Trip Advice, for example, who, is not really good with girls. I can just tell that right away. But that's okay because I felt like, he had value to offer in other areas. So really for me, like when I bring someone on a channel, I look for one, do I respect that person? I can't bring on someone who I have no respect for. Like, even if they're super popular, I just can't do it. Secondly, do I feel like they have some value to offer? And are they someone that my audience will benefit from seeing? Doesn't mean they have to be good at everything. It just means like, do I feel like, so those are the two tests that basically, and three, like, are they popular, right? Like, I don't want to bring on someone who has like 5 followers. Those are the 3 criteria I look, 2-3 criteria I look for. And like, one video, like to give an example, one of my really good friends, John Anthony, J-Mo, me and him, I don't agree with a good amount of things. Like, I mean, again, I think he's legit. I like the guy. He's a good buddy of mine, but we have different styles, as people have told. That's okay. I still feel like he has a lot of, he's one of many people, but he has a lot of value to offer. So I'm going to have him on my channel, like repeatedly, right? Even though we don't necessarily agree on every tiny little thing. So yeah, I think that's kind of like a little backstory.
Something from everybody. Like even like the guys that I don't necessarily admire, it's like I'm still open-minded to some of the like things they'll say. And I'll try to, if I think something that somebody says that like is good, but I don't like the person, I'll still take what they have. Like I'll still like use that. Like that was smart. I'll definitely utilize it. It's like, don't get your ego involved.
Yeah, well, for me, like, again, I have to respect the person that I bring on. Like, it can't be like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, who would be someone like, it can't be like MDL or something like that. Like, I just have like no respect for the guy, and like I would not be able to like, like just even if he has good ideas, which he doesn't, I wouldn't be able to like have him on the channel. So there's got to be that underlying foundation of respect.
I don't know who MDL is. Is he?
MLD, Modern Life Dating.
I'm slowly spacing Modern Life Dating. Well, it's probably good in that case. I don't know.
You're not missing much.
All right, good.
What fantasy and fetish have you had filled that you didn't think would happen? Good question. You start first, Denton.
Oh shit.
What's about your deepest, darkest desires?
Huh. Oh shit. It depends on like what we're talking about, like that kind of shit. I mean, like I've had like a lot of weird. All right, so if you want to hear a really weird story,
yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you a couple. So one time I fucked a girl on the hood of her car in a CVS parking lot in the middle of the day. That was interesting. I one time also had it where I ran into an ex and she was with her current boyfriend. I actually peeled her off of her boyfriend, took her outside of the club and fucked her in an alley. Yeah, that was another time. What else?
What I would pay to see that infield.
Me too, actually. I'm actually mad because I was so apprehensive of shooting infield for so long. I wish I did it for a lot longer. Yeah.
You and I should talk about that offline because I just literally got into shooting infield like 3 weeks ago.
Legit?
So I'm still going through like,
I'll give you some advice. Me and Avery have been like knocking it out and been working on it almost every week. Like,
dude, Avery shot some infield with me when he was there. He shot a video of me. He
told me about it. He was talking to me about the dog leash thing.
Oh, the dog. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Dude,
I'll quickly share the story. Yeah, it was like me, Avery, and I think my buddy Davey were at the bar, and there was these two girls, and it was like it was a set that wasn't going anywhere, right? I wouldn't do this in like if there was like potential, and like the chick, like they were doing like the drunk girl thing where they were just so involved in their conversation, they were like not paying attention. But like it was just like they were just like being like whatever random drunk girls. So I was like trying to get their attention, right? So I had my dog with me, and I took the leash and I just gave her a light little tap on the ass. No response. A little harder. No response. I do this like 10 times. No response. I'm like, yo. And at this point, I'm like kind of like hitting her with the leash. I'm like, all right, let's just go all out. So I just take the leash and just fucking full on like whack her in the ass. Like not painful, obviously. It's just more like, kind of obnoxious. And I for some reason thought she was going to find that funny. She did not find that funny. I mean, obviously nothing happened. It's not a big deal, but yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of my fantasies and fetishes, I've honestly pretty much done everything I fantasized about when I was younger. I'll share a random one. When I was like 17, 18, I always had like a fantasy that like a hot girl would walk in on me jerking off and that would fuck me, right? So like obviously not realistic when you're living with your parents, but like just like if like in college, like you're in a dorm room and then like a hot co-ed walks in on you jerking off and she's like, ooh, can I help you with that? So like I acted out that fantasy to every type of variation of that fantasy with like with one of the girls I was hooking up with. So we had her be the masseuse, and I'm like just getting a massage, and I start jerking off, and she tries to tell me, no, you can't do that. Stop. Management is going to come. And then I seduce her into sex, or like one where she's like, she walks out of the bathroom. I'm jerking. Like we just played out every version of that. So a lot of my fantasies I've really just like beat to death. And you know what's interesting? Like some things that you think are going to be like a big fantasy, like for example, growing up, I always like fantasize about threesomes, right? But then I had a few threesomes, and I'm like, I prefer one-on-one sex.
I got you. Hey, just send me a text if I'll talk to you about like what we're gonna be doing here in a second. All right? Are we still like meeting up at 9? Yeah. You okay? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sorry. Here, I'll mute it really fast while you're like doing your stuff. I was gonna talk to my girl really quick.
All right. You say a more explicit BDSM Tinder profile got less matches but more conversations. Is simply looking for sex would be direct approach. If simply looking for sex, would this direct approach be superior? Not necessarily. It's a balance. It's a balance. It's screening, right? The more you screen, the less leads you get, but those leads on average are going to be more solid. However, if you're screening so hard that you don't have enough leads coming in at all, then that's clearly not working, because there's also momentum and stuff like that. So if you have a really dope profile, let's say you have a fucking solid profile that gets 100 matches a day. At that point, you can definitely afford to screen more. You can screen aggressively. If you go from 100 to 25 matches again, like you start getting 4 times less matches, but 1 out of 4 of those girls down to beat up, you're still overwhelmed with girls. Let's say you're only getting 2 or 3 matches a day, and you screen harder and you get barely 1 match a day. That's not good. So it really just depends on your situation. Bro, thanks for your help, but I used some advice you gave me to inform that was a little off. Maybe it would have worked for you since you're SMB side, but it came off low value for me. All right, well, yeah, you have to provide more detail, man. What exactly didn't work? Quite often, I find what happens is guys will kind of misinterpret what I say and add their own little spin to it, so that can be an issue. Obviously, also there's a chance element to this game. So, and I'll always preface this. I'll say this has a 50-50 chance of working. So yeah, man, make a post, give us more context, and we'll take a look. Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
You came back at the right question. I think it'd be interesting if you guys gave your opinion on how much looks matter. We kind of got into this a little bit on the first one, but give me the two cents overview. How much do you think looks matter?
I have a very well, do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first?
No, go ahead, man.
I have a very I just have a very unique perspective on this, because I studied a wide range of fields, and I also go out a lot. And also, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it could be content bias. So I'm not even above the fact that could be it. So I don't know if you guys agree with me, it's chill. If you guys don't, it's chill too. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody or trying to convince anybody of anything. So here, I'll mess her up when my girls give me the phone to message a girl. All right. So here, I'll message you in a quick second.
We'll do another. Are you in a time constraint, Denton? Do you got to bounce?
No, it's fine. She just got back from work, so she's just sitting here listening to me talk right now. Yeah. So here, this is.
Have her do the Harvey Weinstein twirl.
No, that's gonna get both of us in trouble. Cancel culture. Anyways, so check it out. So my ultimate view is if you don't have anything going for you and pretty much all you have is looks, that's pretty much all you got. If you develop a personality that's attractive, my ultimate thing is we're made to be in a tribal structure, and in a tribe. Does jawline help you out that much? Yeah, it can. It could be in a healthier baby, but the bigger indicator to me of whether or not a girl's gonna be attracted to you is, are you a boss in the tribe? Are you killing it in the tribe? Do you give off those honest signals that say you have status? So back in the day, they didn't have money, they didn't have cars, they didn't have Gucci watches. They just had the most, and they had a wide range of personas. So given this.
Can you imagine a caveman in a Gucci watch?
He's just, yeah. I had some guy trying to argue with me saying that doctors are most attractive. And I was like, I've had a lot of doctors come on boot camps that are saying differently, but I'm not going to argue the point. Essentially, my ultimate thing is that it's the status that matters the most, and makes you attractive, but it's status of personality. It's the way you act, the way you believe about yourselves, the way you emote, the way you speak, talk, gesture, how loose you are, how confident you are, how much girls like you pre-selection. Are you a leader of men? Do you have good belief systems about yourself? Are you just very free-flowing, non-judgmental? Do you have any trauma? When you talk, do you talk with pauses, varying the tone? Can you use the whisper? Can you speak loud? Can you be loose? Can you be still? Or do you move in a nervous fashion when you're so when you're talking to a girl, do you shift your foot from yeah? And so essentially it's there's so much shit that that indicates your status in the way you act and the way you present yourself. And that's what ultimately makes you attractive. But it's a very rare person that actually has these traits in place. And the girls that actually do care about this the most are usually 7s and below. So if you ever see a guy that's stereotypically, I've had a lot of friends that are models, and they always end up dating a 7, and the 7 will end up cheating on them behind their back. And the girl's actually dating him to try to prove to herself that she's a dime herself, because she's doing it because she wants to prove to herself she's attractive. But then the really gorgeous girls don't always date the most attractive guys. They're usually dating one of my friends, or if they aren't, they're theyting on whoever they're dating with one of my friends. And it's just ridiculous. I just see it so many times back to back. And if I'm out of it emotionally, girls don't like me. If I'm in a good headspace, if I'm positive, if I'm in the zone, I've been gaming a lot. it's very rare that a girl doesn't at least on some level get attracted to me. So like that's just where I come from, just from personal experience and from the study. But like
let me ask this question. I don't want to get into like a huge debate about this, but do you feel like maybe part of that could be because you actually have a pretty decent sexual market value to start off? Like you're not like no homo, but you're not a bad looking guy, you know?
Okay,
you're
so here
average looking.
I've
so
tested
like,
it. Actually, here I can actually, if you guys want to check out a video, it's actually one of my most recent videos. I actually posted up because people have this thing where they backwards rationalize like the beliefs that they want, which is I'm very aware of that I could be doing it too. But go to the video how a fat.
We'll post the link in the description.
Okay, good. Yeah, essentially that video in the very end, there's actually a video of me killing it with a group of women with Bradicus. And I actually had to pause the frame because nobody ever noticed it did. I'm actually fat in the frame. If I ever go and work out and I hit the gym and I get really buff, because I do have a body type that gets big, but I also have a body type that gets fat. If I take it out, I'm going to get really big, but then I go out and approach girls, I suck. Girls don't like me because I haven't been out gaming. I'm not very charismatic. And then when I stop working out and I get fat and I go out and game a lot, the girls like me. So it's like, and also too, it's like, I don't know, people used to think I was ugly back in the day, but then like
subjectively, you're not ugly right now.
Well, I rate a 7 on PhotoFeeler on average.
Yeah, but 7 is above average. Average is 5. So I would probably also rate a 7. Like I think you and I are similar sexual market value, but
it's just like a girl. I get this so much. Like girl will be like, "You're not my type," and then I flip her. So a girl will be like, "Oh, I'm into this type," and then like I'm just talking my way through it. It's like actually,
but the type thing is different than being bad looking. Like you could be good looking and not be a girl's type. So kind of here's my perspective on this. And I don't think we're on opposite ends of the spectrum. I think we have some overlap, some differences. I think a lot of the stuff you said falls into sexual market value, like status, the way you carry yourself, leader of men, which to me, like I don't look at it as just looks. I look at it as sexual market value. Part of your sexual market value is looks. Part of it is status. A big part of it is status. Depending on the girl, some girls care about status more. Some girls care about looks more. But I look at it as a whole, like sexual market value. The other side of the coin is kind of what you were talking about is your game. I would not say one is more important than the other. They're both equally important sides of the same coin. So meaning like a good-looking guy with no game really will have a hard time getting laid, like if he has bad game. And I would make the argument that a really bad-looking guy, even with game, is going to struggle. Like I'm not talking about like you with an extra 20 pounds. I'm talking about like a fucking obese guy. I will say another thing. This is like kind of tying into this. It's easier to feel like the man when people treat you like the man. Meaning like, let's say you're a really skinny guy who kind of gets bullied. You kind of look like a dork, right? If people treat you like a little dork, it's going to be harder for you to act like the man. But let's say you're jacked and you have stats, right? People are going to treat you like the boss. And that is going to make it easier for you to feel and act like the boss. So is it possible for a really scrawny guy to feel and act like the boss? Yes, it's just harder. That's kind of like the counter argument I would give. I
have a response to like pretty much everything. So I thought this through in a lot of different ways. It's like, it's just doesn't line up with what I've seen consistently. It's like, so it's like, it's obviously a very complex question. It's like, you know, to some extent, I think at most looks matter probably about depending. I mean, like, all right, so check it out. So society kind of pushes in people that this kind of a person is allowed to act a certain way. Girls get like kind of socially conditioned that this kind of person means this. So then when that person presents themselves, a certain quality of girl is going to keep giving that guy validation. He's going to feel validated, start acting in a certain way. And then like, he's more likely to be the cool guy. So then the girl gets almost like this. So like maybe like almost an ism, like a racism in a way. So like if you have somebody that looks a certain way and or like that, like you have like a positive assumption about them, it's actually how fetishes even get started. It's because you have a good experience with a certain type of girl. And it's like, oh, I've had experiences that were positive with this type of girl. Now I'm going to be more attracted to these type of girls. It's also the same way that like some guys backwards rationalize they don't like models or something like that. It's because you never actually been with a model. In the same way,
I actually legitimately don't like the traditional model. Like I don't find the tall blonde looking girls attractive. Like I legitimately like the porn star look.
And I'll put it this way too. I do have friends that are considered homely, but I would never put them on the spot like that. It's actually why I never bring it up. That crush it, and I'm never gonna put them on the spot. It's like I know that these guys like push this SMV, but the guys that always push this are always the ones that do the worst with women. Like they're like they always complain about it. If you do think that looks matter, like definitely like try to take advantage of it as much as humanly possible. Because like to be honest, like do whatever you feel like.
I don't know about that theory, Denton, because I push SMV and I do pretty good with women.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like if you think it matters, like fuck yeah, do it. It's just like I don't know. I go out so much, and I just see like how my personality kind of moves the attraction of the women. And I know like, and I have this thing in my head that when I'm talking to a girl, I know at any given point when I say something in a certain tone, if I'm dropping the attraction down or if I'm bringing it up.
Sure,
so,
sure. And I agree with all that. Like personality definitely matters. So, the other extreme of the spectrum would be like Black Pill, who say it's all about, fuck, why is my computer being gay? It's all about looks. Game is not even really a thing. It's all about looks. I don't agree with that at all. I think they're both important. I think you can be a good-looking guy who can absolutely fuck it up just by having shit game. So, let's say your SMV is a 7, which is roughly what I think it is, right? Like, it's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's also pretty good. And you go out and your game is on fire. Of course, you're going to get better results than when your game is, man, you're not feeling it.
Girls in person think that I'm a dime, but in the pictures they think I'm less. So when they see like a picture of me without me emoting or giving off any energy, they think I'm lower value. Then they talk to me in person, and then it's funny, they chase me.
True, but that's because you carry yourself like high value guys. Girls have a very hard time separating looks and personality. That's why actually the picture stuff is a more accurate way of getting a feel for your SMV, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you acted like a total dork, they would think that you're a 5 in real life, where your pictures are exactly the same. So you guys see my point. But anyway, this is me and Denton got into a whole big debate about this in the first one. I don't want to kind of tread on grounds we already did. So check out the first live stream. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things you and I disagree on, and that's okay. I think it's a disagree.
Well, I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm constantly open.
Yeah, we could all be wrong. There's like
if somebody comes to me with a better theory that like makes sense to me, that matches more closely what I'm looking at, then like I'm definitely going to entertain it.
Well, what do you think about my theory that like they're two important sides of the same coin? So like game 100% matters.
Yeah.
Sexual market value, and I don't want to say looks because looks is only part of sexual market value.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, if you want to hear my entire theory, it's going to take a long time. But
okay.
Like, so I'm gonna like try to keep it brief because I know that like I'm not trying to take up the entire time. I call it box theory. So like the human brain only has the ability to take on like 150 different personalities at a given time because that was the tribal structure. Maximum 150, past 150, breaking it clicks. So you ever see a school that's small? It's like a cohesive click, but once it gets bigger, breaks into cohesive clicks. So in this kind of a way, this is what happens. So we're in a tribe of like 8 billion people, more people than you'll ever meet, and your brain has the capacity of actually taking it in. So what ends up happening is instead of you being like, hey, so if you get approached by a car salesman, you're not like giving this car salesman his own personality. What you're doing is you're like, this is that same car salesman that's approached me 1 billion times. So the reason you actually should care about looks is so like when you're out of it, when you're talking to girls, when you're trying to, you want to give off the right box. So this girl's like, oh, this is that person that has had good interactions with me in the past, or give off enough like with your looks that you're socially intelligent. So then when you approach her, she has initially a good read on you, and you have an easier time with the open. And sometimes too, it also helps her backwards rationalize her liking you better too, and also has allowed you to more easily. Like allow her friends to like you too in a way, because now the friends like, yeah, he's dope, yeah, he's cool, yeah, I like him. And like I try to make it as easy as humanly possible for the girl to rationalize why she likes me, essentially. Like I don't want to get in the way of that, so I do try to work on it a bit. But the idea is like that over a period of time, I actually want to get my own unique box because I'm so unique and so different. The girl's like, wow, this guy's really fucking sick, and I've never met a guy like him. Now guess what? Now because I'm different than any guy she'll ever meet, now I'm rare, now I'm valuable. Now I'm like that rare person that if I'm gone, there's not another version of me you're going to find out there. Mm-hmm. And so that's this whole idea behind box theory. I'm trying to manipulate this thing that humans kind of do. And I'm trying to use it to my advantage. And so I try to avoid frames of guys that are losers. So like if a guy's dressed in a way that like makes him think, so if you dress in a shirt that's too big on you, it's like you're trying to cover up your body so people don't, because you feel insecure about your body.
Yeah, or you're just a slob.
Yeah, or you're a slob. It indicates that you are socially unintelligent, which is low status. Yeah. It means that you're not very like sociable. It means you're probably like a loser in your tribe. So then like you walk up to the girl and you look like this, and it's like the girl's like instantaneously like, but if you talk in a cool way, you can't override that. So like the girl's like, wait, this guy's actually cool and free of outcome. And then like, so AG was over here for a long time, not showering, like, like dressing in like dirty clothes, going out and like, yeah, he was crushing it. Yeah, I've gone through periods where like I went out and like, this is really bad, but I went out in cum stained like sweatpants and a big like oversized stained shirt that had the word "code" on it with a red X through it. And I'd approach girls with this, and I was like, I had a lot of acne, I had like long greasy hair, and I was crushing it. I was like,
you found your results were just as good as if you go out looking like this with your game being on point. because I've done this testing
Depends
pretty
on how much
much.
I think it matters. So there's this thing that society kind of does it. So like society has this like constant pressure on you to change who you are. It's actually why people end up having approach anxiety, because nobody in your tribe's approaching. So you like, I can't approach because nobody else is approaching, which is why watching our content makes it easier for you to approach. Surrounding yourself with people that approach makes it easier to approach because it gives yourself permission.
Of
As
course.
opposed to like, yeah, in the same way,
Like I personally found that, for example, when I've pulled girls looking like a slob, I pulled girls looking good. But I found that on average, if I'm being objective, when I dress nice, I get my haircut, my facial hair on point, I on average get better reactions. On average, I do better. Again, can I pull a girl looking like a slob? Yes. Is it going to be harder? Yes, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, this is like a whole horse we can beat to death. I think we could rant about.
Well, it's like we're both giving our subjective realities too. Like subjective reality isn't. So the only way that anybody's going to really know whether it does or doesn't, how much it matters, is if we ever get to like figure out how to read neurons in a people's brain, and then we can actually get the like legit answer to it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like the way we could do this is like we need to make it as controlled as possible. So we have you go out. It's not practical, but let's say we have you go out 2 hours every evening at the same time, same place, run game. You keep track of all your stats, like every single day, how many phone numbers, how many pulls, how many opens. And then a month from then, you fucking shave off your facial hair, do a weird haircut, dress like you're in the hood.
That's actually what I'm going to do.
Look like a crazy motherfucker, and then run that experiment. It has to be very objective. I think it's very confirmation bias is very real, and we usually want to. And I'm guilty of this myself. We want to believe what we believe. So I think the only way to really like make it subjective is do something like that.
I constantly do like so. I'm like you got to understand too. I'm constantly having people telling me that I'm wrong. So I do like I test this out all the time. I sit down with a piece of paper and pen, and I look at everybody else's theories on it, and I'm constantly like trying to understand if I'm lying to myself. But I'll put it this way too. I am going to do exactly what we're talking about. I'm actually going to shave off a beard and my hair probably in a year's time. So I want to get my game to a certain point to where I am just so assumptive and so in the zone all the time. So once I'm in the zone, it's all the time. That's when I'm going to do this. I'm just going to be
I would be very interested to have you do this experiment. And like, before you do it, I mean, definitely let's try on the phone and I'll like help you set up the parameters. I think this would be really interesting. We just want to be as objective as possible. Like
I said, too, I do have that infield of me approaching. So the infield, I have dirty sweatpants, a stained white t-shirt, and I'm fat. And I have like really greasy hair. I didn't shower.
But again, this we're talking about like examples. Like again, I personally pull girls looking like a slob, but we gotta look at it in terms of like averages, like as a whole. And
when a guy uses it as an excuse, like I can never get like a hot girl. That's definitely bullshit. Like
I agree. Right. Look, this is my philosophy. You should maximize what you can and then move on. So hit the gym, get as jacked as possible, get your fashion on point. Get your facial hair on point, like maximize your sexual market value as much as you can, and then don't worry about the rest. That's always been my theory. All right, let's jump to the next question because we've been on this one for a while. You should get Mr. Licari on. He's one of the few guys in dating sphere that's willing to debate in good taste. I've heard of him. I'm not familiar with his content, but I'll definitely check it out. Yo, guys, we have gone for an hour and 37 minutes. We are only at 50 likes. I don't want to like beg and plead for likes, but guys, do us a favor. We'll go for another half an hour, but get us to 100 likes. It'll really bump this video in the algorithm. It'll be good for me. It'll be good for Denton. So guys, please, if you're watching this, smash that like button. Don't be fucking stingy with that like. It doesn't cost you anything. And help us get to 100 likes. And then we'll go for another half hour and try to get through as many of your questions as possible. Alex, someone in the comment section of your last persistence video called you a simp because you didn't drop her thoughts. Well, I don't really pay much attention to what random people in the comments call me, but the argument is retarded. Like, because I was persistent with a girl, I'm a simp. Like, it's the dumbest argument ever. How is it more alpha to give up? Like, give up and move. Like, this. Think about it from in a different perspective. Let's say that you have a business, right? You start a business and your business, isn't super successful right away. It suffers a little bit of a setback. Would you be a simp for completely giving up your business and starting a new business? Or would be a smarter move to keep trying to overcome the obstacles within reason and try to make your business work? So it's just logic that is just faulty red pill, logic. It just doesn't really make sense if you think about it like that. So Denton, to get you up to speed, basically, like in the red pill community, if a girl, if a girl's like needs to reschedule on you and you're persistent, it makes you a simp. It's like the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Anybody that calls another person a simp is definitely not somebody that's going to be good with girls. I'm sorry. Like if you say that word and you're like one of those guys that's accusing other people of that, you're very much somebody that's like you're suffering from what's called Dunning-Kruger effect. That's something you need to look into. He actually, Alex just here, he just mentioned this quite a few times. Like your logical fallacies. Understand your logical fallacies, how you're capable of lying to yourself. Because if you're saying something like this, especially about Alex, you're definitely lying to yourself. So look into Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, this is interesting, bro. Have you ever been rejected in a cold approach? Nope, never. 100% success rate. Every girl I talk to fucks me without. Now, of course, everyone has been rejected. I have been rejected many times in cold approach. Denton has. Every single coach, no matter how good they are, has been rejected. In fact, you get rejected more often than you succeed. So I don't know about you, but I don't hook up with 50% of the girls I approach. It's more like 10% or something like that. You will fail on average more than you succeed, from what I've seen. That does not make your game bad. It's just simply reality, right? A lot of chicks have boyfriends. A lot of chicks or whatever having like it's again. Is it a big? How do I end the conversation on a good note? It's super easy. Like the girl's like, well, like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm married. I'd be like, okay, cool. He's a lucky guy. Nice to meet you. Like it's so easy to end it on a good note. It doesn't have to be like this weird thing. The girl's like, sorry, I'm not interested. I'd be like, cool, okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Like you don't have to be like super fucking, be like, oh my God, okay, I'm sorry. Like it's so easy. Like it's, yeah. So you will 100% get rejected in cold approach. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll interject this too. I imagine you're looking at the private chat, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of like there's a troll in there, but I'm just skipping him.
Okay. Check out the message I sent you too.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Just so you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. No worries, man.
All right.
Let's do like one or two more questions.
Okay, sick.
I do well at day game, but night. What are your thoughts on this?
It's more of like a self-fulfilling prophecy than anything else. So if you're having this kind of an issue, so there's this thing that I realized with myself when I was younger and also with clients, and actually I lean into this. You're going to have like this thing in your head that tells you how well you're going to do with somebody or in a certain situation. So maybe there's like a certain spot where you had really good success in the past and you're like, this spot's just awesome. It's not that the spot's awesome. It's that you believe it's awesome because you have that belief. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you act a certain way that's weird or some shit in another spot. So you have some weird assumption or belief that's actually fucking you up. You just don't know it. You ever think the same thing?
I know. I've kind of observed the fact that you're talking about myself. Like, yeah, the spot is the shit, but it's not like really the spot. I mean, the spot is good, but I do well at day game, but night game, girls just don't take my approach that well. Well, night game is a little bit different. It's more like high energy. Also, really matters with night game where you're going. Are you going to like a chill lounge or bar? Are you going to a club? Me personally, I do not go to clubs. I just do like very chill places where you can have a conversation. So yeah, I would need to know more information, but generally speaking, go to places where you can actually have a conversation and the dynamic shouldn't be too different than day game. The one thing is you girls will usually be with friends versus day game. They're usually, by themselves, or at least that's what guys tend to approach. So you just have to kind of learn how to deal with friends, but it's easy once you get the hang of that. Yeah. So it's not a big difference. It's really not. There's some small differences that let's end it off with this. What would you say are the differences between day game and night game?
There's more of like a social stigma that it's okay to like sleep with you faster, I think. There's also a higher energy environment. The girls usually are drinking. That makes a big difference. They're more of a party mode as opposed to like more of like a chilled out, relaxed, like chill like mode. Like the one people used to say night game and day. The only difference between night game and day game was that the sun was out and like it was like that was the difference. And I'm like, that's bullshit. But I'll put it this way too. Like you can still pull in the day. Like you can still pull in the day. You can still take girls home in the day. I do like me and my friends do quite a bit, and we have had a lot of clients do that as well. It's just like it's more socially acceptable to take a girl home at night because it's more. The idea is it's more, like the bed's involved because it's night. You're gonna go to sleep. It's like it's more because it's night now. It's more. Like you're more covert about it instead in the sun where there's the sun out. So it's like so many reasons why it's the case. But at night, girls are just more assumed that it's easier to sleep with a girl because of societal, treatments of like what do you do at a nightclub or a bar scene than the other way around.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Also, at night, usually daytime, girls are trying to get somewhere, so you have these like logistical constraints. You have that with night game, like if they're trying to bounce bars, but it's like with day game, I try to figure out the girl's like situation pretty quickly. Like, is she in a rush? If she's in a rush, I don't want to like take my time. I want to get to the point and close. Versus night game, that's not really a thing. All right, guys, so we're gonna do this. Denton has to go and have an epic orgy. We don't want to be cock blocking him. So what we're going to do is, if you guys can, we're at 70 likes. You guys get me to 100 likes. I will stay for an extra 20, 30 minutes and just rapid fire through your questions, because I do feel bad. A lot of guys have questions, specifically for like, me that I want to skim through. So yeah, we'll do that. All right, Denton. So if people want to follow your stuff, like they want to learn more about you, what's the best way to reach you?
You can do it through you can check out my YouTube channel, Karisma with a K. It's actually the name of my profile here. You can also check out my TikTok, King Mentality, or you can check out my Instagram, denton.fisher. Or if you really want to get intimate with me, you can email me at dentondating.com. Like any of those places you can get a hold of me at.
Denton, do me a favor, just send me all the links and I'll plug them in the description.
Oh hell yeah! Here, let me make a note of that.
Yeah. For guys who are watching this on repeat. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on. We had interesting conversation as always. I like our little debates.
Well, I like that we can debate too without like getting angry. I hate when people get angry. It's like it's not no reason to get angry. Don't get an ego.
There's such few people that you can actually have a debate with. Like a lot of people get so like I love having debates. Like, but again, it has to be someone who doesn't get like butthurt, and we just have like a respectful conversation rather than like fucking screaming and personal insults and whatnot.
Me and AG, we debate all the time, but we don't debate from the idea that I want to win. We debate from like the idea of like, can we figure this out?
Yeah. Sam, I do this with my roommates all the time as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like an equation. Like, what do you like? If you actually if the idea was to improve your results in dating, like you should be objective. Like so, like again, I'm objective about the fact that maybe the looks thing doesn't matter.
What's AG's perspective on all that?
He agrees with me.
Okay.
Yeah. He's I think he's more. I don't know, to be honest. He doesn't talk about it too much. But when he does talk about it,
I'll bring him over to the dark side.
I believe, yeah.
I'll get him to the dark side. All right, man. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
Hey, no worries, man. I got you. Let me know when you want to, like, actually, well, I'll talk to you after this call, I imagine.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm just going to go for another 20 minutes. If you guys can get me to 100 likes, I will do it. So we'll just assume, I'm just going to assume compliance and jump into some other questions. Best neighborhoods for game in Miami: Brickell versus downtown, Wynwood. I personally prefer Brickell. That's where I live. Best neighborhoods for game in Miami, yeah, definitely Brickell in my opinion. Wynwood is a close second. Do you need a car for logistics in Miami? Not really. Not if you live in the center. Yeah, I mean, you don't really need it. Like my roommates don't have cars, but I find it useful for a high class. Yeah, Denton, by the way, I feel like I'm holding you up. Like you don't have to like. I'm just like we can.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm holding you up. But yeah, so I'm just gonna take questions. We'll talk. I'll give you a call after I'm done with this, and we'll chat.
Hey, sounds good, man. All right, I'll talk to you later. And I'll send you my links for all the stuff. Okay.
All right, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, late man.
All right, had an ed with a girl and got shamed for it after I lost in confidence and felt insecure. ED with a girl and got shamed for it. I mean, any girl who shames you for ED is probably not a girl you want to see, more than once anyway. But this is really common, and I honestly, I'll be honest, this is not really an issue. Like, I'm not trying to brag or something. It's not really an issue I personally had myself, so I've never really had to like. Maybe a few times, but I've never really had to like kind of figure out a solution here. But I have had multiple clients who had this issue, and the advice I always give them is, if you have like, it can become like a mental thing, right? So, one night maybe you're drunk, maybe you're low on sleep, maybe your hormones are out of balance, you don't get a boner, right? But then you start carrying this emotional pressure on yourself, and then it becomes a secondary issue. So just you need to get into a positive cycle. So just pop some Cialis, or there's like also other herbs and shit, and have a few good bangs, and then basically like cycle off that shit. So. Yeah, I think that, but don't feel insecure. Like pretty much every guy gets ED. I've even had like, for me, it's more of like, not that I get ED, but I just can't come. So I'll like fuck a girl for 2 hours. I just won't be able to bust, which, believe it or not, chicks don't like. because that to them, you're stripping them of validation, but it's like too much. They're like, what? Like why does this guy can't come? What does he not like me? Like, so that's also an issue. So I've had that a few times. All right, so we're just gonna, well, actually, let's see how the likes are looking, and then we'll jump through some more questions. All right, 85 likes. So just give me 15 more, guys. We can do it. All right, so someone says, Wynwood's good, Brickleville's too classy, and South Beach is Ratchet City. Yeah, I find that South Beach is just like full of tourists. So it's good for one night stands, but not the best for, rotations and shit like that. What are your guys' opinions on setting up dates straight to the house? I love it. I mean, that's pretty much what I do. I will happily meet a girl in public if she objects to coming straight over, but straight to the house? Yeah, absolutely. That's usually my plan A. Alex and Denton, I'm going to speak for Denton. What is your warm-up routine before you guys go to a bar and for a cold approach for sex? I don't really have a warm-up routine. Like, I used to, like, they're kind of embarrassing. I don't even want to get into it. Like, it wasn't anything that was effective. But nowadays, I don't really have a warm-up routine. I just, like, go when I get to the bar. I always go with friends, so I'm talking and then just approach. The more you dilly-daddle and the more you kind of stand around, like, trying to muster up the courage and warm up, the harder you make it. But if you just like get into the bar, even on the way to the bar, you see a hot girl, you approach her, you enter that positive momentum. So I think I'm a big believer in just like fucking like ripping the Band-Aid right off, like just getting in there, fucking approaching, and then you get into that nice social flow state. Alex and King, secrets to a really successful YouTube channel. That's a good question. I would say the main one is there's two. One, produce content that people find valuable. And it doesn't matter what you like. It matters what your audience likes. So produce content that people appreciate and people find valuable. Like really focus on the value. I think a lot of YouTubers, they get way too markety. It's all like sponsored post this, pitch that. Like if you guys watch my channel, like obviously I have a product, but you don't see me pitching it like all the fucking time. You don't see me doing sponsored videos and shit like that. Like I try to focus on the value and not like trying to maximize every fucking dollar and dime you can make. So this is like a mistake I see a lot of YouTubers making. The second one is consistency. And this is probably area where I could use some improvement in. Me personally, I try to do 2 videos a week and then one interview a week, right? But sometimes, maybe someday I release a video on Monday, someday it's Tuesday. So you just want to be very consistent, like Monday and Wednesday, releasing videos, and then, Sunday live stream. Like you want to follow a schedule. Also, there's the SEO stuff, but that's like pretty easy to figure out. Just maximize the SEO on videos. A really good tip that someone taught me was on YouTube, go incognito, right? Because you have to do this incognito. Under the search bar, just start typing in like the category that you're making a video on and see what the autocorrect is and autofill. And basically whatever autofills as first and second is the most searched upon topic. So that's another good little tip. All right, let's jump through a few more questions. Francis, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, man. How do I convey an overall sense that I'm busy, that my time is precious without actually saying it outright? It can be like something like, typically I'll do that more over text. Like when a girl asks me like, so what do you, tell me a bit about yourself. I'll say, I run a business and get quite busy in my free time. I like travel, going to the gym, various kinky activities. Just missing a little bit of blank insert in my life. So I'll try to communicate that in other ways. I won't so much explicitly tell it. Also, just like in my response time. And again, this is not like a game technique. It's not like I'm deliberately taking a while. Like I legitimately just get busy. Like 2 hours, I haven't checked my phone. Like there's probably gonna be a lot of people I need to text back. But that's okay, because like again, I try to not be always on my phone. Like I try to focus on the activity. And that kind of helps me, appear like I am busy, because I am busy. All right, let's see. I love Denton, but thank you, Alex, for keeping my track. Yeah, we're gonna call him the Tangent King. He definitely goes out on a lot of tangent, but he's a good guy. Called out Bratty sub for canceling for the second time, and she said it's not a big deal for canceling. Hasn't responded in 2 weeks. Reinitiating twice. What? I don't know, man. You have to post the screenshots. I need to see the context. Yeah, so make a post in the forums, and I'll take a look. Vegas or Miami for day game, night game, and online game. I've been to both, obviously, because I live in Miami and I've stayed in Vegas for a bit. I will 100% personally pick Miami like all day, every day. No, even for night game. Yeah, in my opinion, Miami wins in all those three categories. Is there an upper age limit when day gaming hot girls if this guy's in his 60s but dresses well? Good question. Unfortunately, I don't really have an answer to this because I'm 31, so I've never really like experimented with like day gaming as a 60-year-old. I do think that when you get in like, you know, that age range, that like cold approach does become like a little bit like odd. Like, why is he 50 and approaching girls on the street? Like, at that point, it's a lot more like social circle and like people who you know, and more like activities types of things. So yeah, or like, you know, like whatever, like going to bars where like older people hang out. Like when I say older, I mean like, you know, 30s, not 18-year-old girls. So yeah, I think it would be kind of weird to be day gaming at 50 and 60 on average, in my opinion. But again, I haven't tried it. Just moved to a new city. How to build a solid rotation realistically? How long would it take? Good question. A lot of it depends on two factors. One, what is the city? And two, how good your game is and how good your profile is. Let's say that the city is like somewhere in South America or Eastern Europe and you have decent game, you can fucking do that in like a week or two. It just really depends on where and, you know, what, you know, how good your profile is and all that. Do you think amount of followers helps your online game? Not nearly as much as you think. I think if you have like a lot of followers, like a lot, like celebrity a lot, or like TikTok famous a lot, yes. But like for example, me personally, I don't really think it's like, I don't think my YouTube channel or my like, you know, following on social media is helping me get laid. I think the posts I make and like, you know, the fact that I show off a cool lifestyle helps, but I don't think that like, you know, like it yes, at a certain level of famous it does, but like personally, I'm definitely not there. Alex, please talk about TRT benefits. Yeah, I mean, you know, you put on more muscle. You're also more vascular. You have like a six-pack. In my opinion, you have, you know, just more boners, a little bit more energy. But I think the biggest one I found is like more calm and more groundedness. But again, you have to kind of, it depends on what your baseline is. So for example, me, when I started TRT, I was sick as fuck with Lyme. I was just really fucking sick, like more sick than, you know, I would wish on my enemies. And my natural testosterone was like 150 or something like that, like 200. It was like super fucking low. So for me to go from that to, you know, TRT, like I had this like kind of like from, you know, from fucking Lyme, and just had this low level baseline anxiety. It was just always there. And that got significantly alleviated, like literally the day I started TRT. You know, I was able to put on some weight, some muscle, but it's subtle. It's subtle. It's not like taking a drug. It's not like taking a Klonopin or, you know, like fucking doing a line of coke where you just like feel like, yeah, it's much more subtle. All right, we're going to take like 3 or 4 more questions, guys. Advice for approaching girls as a freshman in college at bars and texting them, please. Really the same exact advice I would give to anyone else. Like there's no like nothing different you need to do if you're a freshman in college. The only thing I would recommend is, especially if you go to a small university, don't just run around your campus spam approaching. Like be a little bit more tactful. A lot of it depends on how big your university is, but like don't spam approach. But aside from that, it's all the same shit. What would you guys define as advanced game? There's a lot of guys that get laid. That's not that hard. But what do you think that makes someone truly highly advanced? Well, I actually say with getting laid consistently with a high caliber of girls is what makes you advanced. Like that to me would actually be the definition of advanced. I think when you start, you know, when you start like looking at other metrics that like don't matter, like, oh, how grounded you are and shit like that, it's very easy to deceive yourself. You see this all the time in the red pill community. Like they call themselves advanced, but like they haven't been laid in like 3 months. Like that's not advanced in my opinion. Like I don't give a shit how abundant you are. If you're not getting laid, then you're not advanced. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but like you can't be advanced and not get laid. So that would be the metric for me. What do you identify PUA, red pills, black pills? So that's a good question. Probably I would identify myself much more as a YouTuber, sex and dating coach when girls ask. Out of those, I would identify the most with the PUA genre. I really can't identify with red pill or black pill, but yeah, also I would never go around calling myself I'm a PUA. Like, no, I'm a dating coach, right? So that's kind of how I would define myself. Should you be persistent after already dating if she's not acting the same? No. If you're already dating, like you're having sex in your relationship and she's not showing you interest, then no. Every relationship I've ever been in, the girl is more persistent than I am. So yeah, you don't want to be chasing your girlfriend. That's a bad look. So yeah. All right. I identify as an insult. Nice. All right. Let's take one or two more questions. We're going to take this one. How do you manage multiple girls? What happens when two from your rotation want a relationship? Well, part of it is just setting expectations and not promising girls, not treating like if you're going on like fancy dates and shit, then girls will, if you treat them like a girlfriend, then they will, want to be in a relationship, right? If you're more like low key and laid back about it, then, it's less likely to happen. But I think that setting expectations straight, just being honest and upfront, like I'll be like, hey, listen, I really like you and we have such a good time together. I just personally don't want to be in an exclusive relationship. Like, I'm down to do everything else but that. Like usually if you're honest up front, it's not going to be a big deal. We're going to take one last question. We'll end it off on this. Have you ever taken psychedelics? If so, how has it influenced your game? I would actually be very curious to hear about Denton's psychedelic experience if he's had them. Yes, I've taken psychedelics. I've taken shrooms. I've taken acid. I've taken 2CB. I'm personally, I'm not big on psychedelics. I tried it when I was like in my early mid-20s. I just like shrooms is probably like the one drug that you could not get me to do like right now. Like, like you could probably convince me to do like a little bit of coke or something like that. Like if the situation was right, I don't think you could convince me to do shrooms. I just don't think that would happen. And yeah, I mean, psychedelics hit everybody differently. So it's a lot of it just depends on, your brain chemistry and whatnot. But for me, I don't really like the way psychedelics hit me. I've never had a truly bad shroom trip. I mean, one time I took shrooms and I thought I had become my dad, which was bizarre as fuck. I've never had a truly bad experience, but I've also never had it help me with game at all. Like I've never had any of the, the benefits that a lot of people describe. And I have heard some horror stories. Like I was hanging out with Austin Summers a few days ago, and one of his students was telling us that he took shrooms, like not even that big of a dose, like 3 grams, and it fucked him up to this day. Like he had a horrible trip. He got PTSD after the trip. He's in therapy now for the experience. Like it fucked him up. It gave him this like low level baseline anxiety that he never used to have. So psychedelics do have a risk. And again, I think that, be careful with it. Like I'm not telling people not to do it because, I've obviously done it, but I think it is important to I think too many people treat psychedelics as if psychedelics are not addictive and you can't really overdose on them. So that is good, but they can fuck you up. Like psychedelics can be scary. So I would proceed with caution. Like I think a lot of people don't give the psychedelics like the respect that they're due. Almost like they're pretty fucking intense drugs, and especially when you get into the higher doses. So just err on the side of caution. That would be my advice. All right, guys. Dope live stream. Thank you guys for turning out. Thank you guys for helping me get to a decent amount of likes. We have a video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be definitely an interesting one. I break down the movie Hitch, and I review whether it's, what is legit and what is not. We got some awesome podcasts coming on. We got Andrew Tate coming on. That's going to be fucking dope. It's going to be next weekend. We also have, what's her name? The hot British chick. I'm kind of out of it, but the hot British girl who was on my channel, she's coming out for round 2. We have an awesome podcast planned as well. I don't know why her name is escaping me. So yeah, we got a lot of good shit, a lot of awesome guests in the woodwork. So make sure you guys smash that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for everything. Hit that bell for notification too. All right, guys. Till next time.